RPN is not responsible for the views, actions, or opinions of its guests or advertisers. An appearance on this program is not to be considered an endorsement, and information contained herein is not to be construed as medical or legal advice. The viewers of this program are encouraged to do their own research. Smash that like button, guys. Don't forget to share. Yes! It's time for another edition of Saturday Night Livestream. Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this is your Red Pill News. Tonight, we are going deep inside the Matrix, but not the way you have experienced it before. Obviously, you know how I got my name. Well, what if I told you that this story was originally written by someone else under another name, and Hollywood stole it? Well, that is exactly what I'm telling you happened. You guys, get ready. We're going to be going into this with Thomas Althouse, the original writer of the story which was used to create the Matrix trilogy, and others. So please, everyone, do sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. Stephen King once wrote, "Panic is highly contagious, especially in situations when nothing is known and everything is in flux." Well, the world we live in today is in flux, and it's filled with a flood of information that's often as much gossip as fact. Now, that makes it hard to know what the situation really is, and it also makes it easy for people to panic and make bad decisions. The only way not to get caught up in that chaos is to have a plan allowing you to avoid dealing with empty store shelves, long lines, and in the worst case, desperate people. Use today to prepare. A great place to start is storing food in your home, and I'm prepared myself, and I even ordered more recently. Now, the experts at My Patriot Supply have told me that orders have now reached about 100 times the normal volume, and they're shipping on a first-come, first-served basis. With this unprecedented emergency, orders are being delayed, sometimes 8 weeks or more. I urge you to add your order to mine today, because the sooner you order, the sooner you can get your purchase. Take action so you're ready for what's coming and save $70 on a 2-week emergency food kit when you go to my special website, preparewithredpill78.com. Those that know what's coming are preparing today. Go to preparewithredpill78.com. Once again, that's preparewithredpill78.com. And remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. You like that coffee cup? I sure do. Well, guys, like I said in the introduction, Thomas Althouse is joining us tonight. This is a fascinating tale that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. It's tragic, but it spans decades, and I do believe you're going to come to the same conclusion that I did, that this man's life work was stolen and repurposed by the same people we fight against on a daily basis, the Hollywood cabal. So please, without further ado, please join me in welcoming to the show my good friend, Thomas Althouse. Thomas, how are you, buddy?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, not a problem. Not a problem. Glad to be here with you. I just need to say thank you real quick. We had Kelly Dunn drop a super chat. What artist and song is this? Kelly, I don't know. I have to look it up. But this is the kind of music I listen to. So I have like a Spotify playlist, and I always look for these types of synthetic songs. So I love that synth stuff. And obviously, you're looking behind me. I'm trapped in the Matrix here. But the Matrix isn't the Matrix, is it, Thomas? It was something completely different. So please introduce yourself to the audience for us. You're a screenwriter and a playwright.
Screenwriter, playwright. I think somebody who's just like a regular person that got hit with the writing bug and just has a sense of compassion coupled with a sense of responsibility that we all can make a difference. Not everything's been done under the sun. And if each person is touched in their heart with a creative spark, we'll each create unique work. And so one of the reasons I wrote the piece was to encourage others to do their own take on it and to create themselves that I might enjoy their work.
Well, it's interesting, to say that not everything under the sun has been done, because you'd almost think that it is when you look at Hollywood. Hollywood has a real reputation for repurposing the exact same stories and packaging them over and over and over again. So how did the Immortals, and that's the title of the original. Are you guys saying that no live video? Yes, I am getting live video. I definitely have live video. Okay. So The Immortals was your original screenplay. In what year did you write this?
It was done, actually it was done between 1989 to 1993. Really fully pretty much done in 1992, but then was being reconditioned. I was trying to improve the battle sequences from 93 through 95, 96. And that was done through Greg Mazer, who is, I just touched my nose. Greg Mazer, who is like, I keep thinking about people say, Greg Mazer, who's a good friend of mine who gave some great testimony now, where he actually had the floppy disks of the creation in 92, 93.
Okay. All right. So there is, sounds like we're getting my stream coming through. What was that? Okay. Sounds like we've got, you have the proof that you wrote this some time ago, and you even have a copyright on the script itself. Okay. Right there. That is the original script. There is the copyright. Now, that script must have been registered with a group in Hollywood. Isn't there like the Screen Actors Guild or something like that? Or was that okay? Yeah,
it was registered with the Writers Guild East, and because there's East and West. And so I have the receipt and the identification stamp, everything. I'm very anal about my records.
Sure.
And also you'll see my title in the copyright records listed as The Immortals. And here's one entry right here, Thomas Park Althouse.
Okay.
Records itself, Immortals.
All right.
Althouse. What's interesting is you also have Dina Laurentiis copywriting my title also, which is pretty spooky, because if you go to this one here, Dina Laurentiis and Warner Brothers copyrights my title, The Immortals, without any body of work, and 342 other titles.
And The Immortals, that was a film that ended up being made with Henry Cavill, right?
Well, back in the day, in 93, there was nothing being made called The Immortals, but they were locking in a slot at the Copyright Office with my exact title. And then what's really curious is there's no body of work, but there's 342 other titles listed for Dina Laurentiis and Paradise Films. And if you look at this one here, Dina Laurentiis and Paradise Films, again with the Wachowskis, under Assassins. They failed in that project, said they'd have to pack their bags unless they were given a project to direct. And so that's why the 342 titles is that anybody that would rip it off, such as the Wachowskis under Dina Laurentiis and them, would then be able to use one of those titles and have a slot at the Copyright Office.
Okay.
No body of work, but they insert their version in. That was the strategy that Mike Lang came up with from Disney.
So how was De Laurentiis able to copyright the same title after you? He shouldn't have been able to, right?
Shouldn't have been able to. It was an insider at the Warner Bros. The Copyright Office. That's why the specialists and directors step in.
Okay.
This gold seal and that bolted system there. Yes. If that's ever broken, this is no good. Okay. But they sent me this special gold seal. They suggested it, so there's no debate that yes, this proceeds. And you see a date on there, 2017. This was sent.
Yes.
And they're trying now. Naysayers are trying to say, well, look, it's 2017. Well, no, you look down at the bottom here, and you see the actual date of the second rendition is 1998.
1998. Okay.
The year before The Matrix. And so this is what I'm told by attorneys. The second version was on set in hand with the Wachowskis, and their visual storyboard would listed all the images they thought were cool out of it, like shopping it.
Sure.
They thought that they could make the film that way. That's why that big historic argument where they claim everybody said blow up the Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you had a finished script you were shooting from, there would be no debate.
Yeah.
But since mine was on set with their visual storyboard, they said everyone said to blow it up. Instead, they kept my exact sequence of endings, but it didn't work because they ripped the spine out.
So now, who do you have as a witness to the fact that your script was on set at the time that they were filming The Matrix? And is that like, do you have like a depositions or anything like that, or is this?
We have contacts. I tape my contacts. When I say contacts, there's a whole layout that's done to handle writers and steal from them. And now it's becoming such that we're starting to talk to each other and come up with a playbook now. Now we know how they work and the strategies, how they worked. In the past, yes, none of us, we were all clueless. We didn't think people would go this far. Personnel, money, all that stuff. But you have different players with different positions that can be bought off family to make sure that you're considered nuts, things like that. You have different politicians. You have different anonymous, as we call them. They're responsible for contacting jobs, relationships, things like that, getting to turn, isolate you, drive the swamp. Then you have people that are called contacts, we refer to, that will actually tell you, answer your questions from Disney, Warner Brothers, and they put themselves as middlemen or middlewomen, and they'll answer all your questions. That's, I'm told now, was supposed to make you look nuts. So that if you actually brought the information forward, you look nuts, supposed to frustrate you, cause despair.
Sure.
It's all thought out, right? So
you're getting this information from people in direct proximity to the executives at the film studios and stuff.
That's right. That's one of the reasons Bob Iger just fell.
Okay. And you recorded your conversations with these people.
Yes, I did.
So you have evidence.
About legalities on that one. I figured if they're going to kill my sons, murder my sons, take my wife to bed, then I'm going to record you.
Right. Absolutely.
Let
me do these super chats. Matthew Schroba says, please say hi to my wife, Ashley Schroba. Hi, Ashley Schroba. Good to see you. First time listening. Great. I hope you're enjoying it. Love your show. 2 years. Matthew, thank you for being a loyal viewer. Graham Anon has joined as a member. Appreciate that, Graham. And Russell Waldschmidt says, oh my God, I have time to watch RP78 live. Well, this is a good one for you to be here. All right. So take us through just kind of a snapshot view of this story. And then I want to talk about all of the points of commonality between your script and The Matrix. And knowing there's 190 points of commonality between these two scripts. I would imagine on any given science fiction story, maybe you'd have one, maybe you'd have two, but 190 is statistically impossible without there being some type of actual ripoff going on. So what is the story of the Immortals?
Right. Well, actually, it's basically, if you want to capsulize the heart of it, it's a father trying to reclaim his family.
Okay.
That really is where it comes from. And it's interesting that Wachowski's actually, in Assassins, they didn't want a relationship in the stories, and that's one of the reasons they brought another writer in to finish the work. And when they got a hold of my work, they added the violence, took out the relationships, when it's actually about a writer trying to unite his family. Okay. I lost everything when I was back with Pat Robertson's organization. I was being groomed to be the face of the Christian Coalition when he was running for president in 1988. And so I was rising through the ranks, everything else. I thought it was a good place to study. Didn't know all about the shenanigans going on or his plans. And then I was made privy to what his plans actually are for our world. And it is pretty sociopathic, psychotic mess.
Dark stuff.
It's, insane that people actually follow along. And his entire structure appears to say, well, he does some good, just like Hitler. He did some good. Now you see where the genesis starts to happen. So I wanted to whisper through art what was occurring, what his plans were, and what I was sensing. I didn't think anybody would get it during our lifetime. I thought maybe in the future they'd understand and appreciate the work was done. But instead, I was asked to pitch it to Bonaventura. And when Bonaventura got the script ahead of time, I didn't realize that. I was brought up by Lenny Coco and the Chimes to New York to pitch it to Bonaventura. Bonaventura had already seen it, one of his questions answered, loved it. Because what I was doing was writing from the standpoint of, I want to put things that haven't been seen before, or at least I hadn't seen before.
Sure.
So Jack's the neck and liquid mirrors as security devices at the train station, and little girl, pointing the sun, all that stuff. I wanted something that I thought was exciting, unique, and would cause people to turn to each other and go, what do you think it means?
Something original.
Something original. And so it turned out there's 190 of them. So I didn't realize that, I thought, RP, that when you pitch something and they say you're making it, that's like a 1 in a million or 1 in a billion chance, right? To actually be pitching to a major studio head, and they're saying they're making it. You think that's it, you've made it. You celebrate, right? You think, oh my God, this is great. So we're celebrating. I had no idea. I didn't realize that Bonaventura's penchant is saving the careers of failed writers. So you pitched this story to Bonaventura. That's like an arm of Disney, correct? Disney and Warner Brothers are very well connected.
Okay.
And Silver Pictures are too. It's one big happy family. In fact, you're seeing a lot of like the studios, MGM and recently Fox, all of them are selling out to Disney instantly. Because apparently we're coming forward and our evidence is irrefutable. Even though people say he lost in court. Look, he lost in court. No, we never had our day in court yet.
Right.
No, it was completely railroaded right out.
Right.
So what we have, that's why discrepancies.
All right.
But no, Disney, Warner Brothers and Disney are very close.
Okay.
And in fact, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, just gonna, Social Observer says, did Warner Brothers steal the Matrix script? Yes, that's the contention here that we're talking about. Bob Americana says, I am sub number 93. Space Shot sent me. Well, Bob, thank you very much for being here since the beginning. So when you went to pitch this script, and what year was it when you pitched the script?
It was in 93. It was like around May 93.
Okay, 1993.
With the official submission of June 25th, 1993 by attorneys, certified mail, receipt, and everything. Okay,
so you have the proof showing that the script was delivered. You actually presented it to the executives. Now, did they tell you that they were going to move forward with it, or did they just... Okay.
Bonaventura said they're making it. They said, we're making this. It's revolutionary, which is funny. They said revolutions. They said this is revolutionary. We're making it. I got to answer all his questions. And that's why I think, RP, it's so fascinating that, Bonaventura on Wikipedia still is listed as saying that he discovered and shepherded the Matrix story, and one of the few that understands it.
Now, what is the official story of how they found this script? I mean, obviously, they've written you out of this equation. It's like it's like a movie in and of itself. How does he say that this was found? I mean, because they were already working with the Wachowskis, correct? Assassins.
Oh, no, not when I'm coming to the picture. No.
Okay.
Wachowskis didn't exist. They brought him in. Dino Laurentiis wined and dined them to be one of the stealing candidates.
Okay.
They weren't the first choice. Yeah. The lady who wrote Heidi Chronicles, the Jewish woman from Broadway.
I'm not familiar with
Heidi Chronicles. I forget, she died, but she was one of the first candidates to take it. In fact, there was an entry in the Copyright Office, again, no body of work, that said Warner Brothers was commissioning her to write The Immortals. So she was the first candidate.
Okay. But she never had anything to do with the film, or actually...
She never ended up doing it, no.
So what they're doing is they're trying to set up the narrative
somebody
ahead
in-house
of time.
Take it, right. Somebody in-house that will take it.
All right. So you've got the presentation, you've got the proof that you wrote it prior to them having anything to do with the story. You've got the proof that you delivered the story to them.
Absolutely.
And then when do the Wachowskis or the Wachowskis or whatever, when did they come in, and when did they supposedly write this story?
Well, you can see right away if you go back to that entry I was showing you with the Wachowskis.
Yep.
Where is that? The one where they say assassins. Right here. Okay. So if we look at this as a guideline here, this date is 93. Okay, November 93. No, this isn't telling. This is The Assassins.
Yep.
November 93. And you'll see Dino Laurentiis, Paradise Films, and the Wachowskis.
Yep.
So obviously they're connected. They're wined and dined sometime around 93, right? To be brought in. Because I'm submitting, we have the proof, actual proof of submission, June 25th, 1993, is official submission. But before that, we've already submitted through Bonaventura.
Okay.
Because Bonaventura said he has the script, he's going to push it through, but we had to follow certain protocols. You're not allowed to solicit, unsolicited, take unsolicited.
Right.
So he wanted us to follow protocols and send through James Boyd of Norfolk, the attorney, who has the tracking number, receipt, the script submitted.
And we should say specifically for this very reason, I would imagine. So you have these protocols that you must follow so that they have, chain of evidence and chain of handling, so that you can show, I delivered this intellectual property to you on this date, and it was handed to this person, to this person, to this person. So what do they say to this chain of handling here with this information?
Well, now they say they never received it. They'll say that the pitch session never happened, which is very fortunate that we have Lenny Coco. Before he dies, Lenny Coco is on tape saying, yes, you were here. My wife remembers you. My granddaughter remembers you. Yes, you were here. So we have the proof that the pitch session occurred. And he's best friends with Bonaventura.
Okay.
And he's actually even saying, I want you to write my life story.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Let me just say that Kim Castile says, thank you, Patriot Military Mom 17. Thank you, Kim. Appreciate that. Mel C says, Bullseye, the level of interference on this is insane. And you're buffering hard, Red Pill. They do not want this out. Deep State puppets. I should mention to everybody that this stream was demonetized before we even started. That never happens. Never happens. Russell Walshmit says, I love this new media. Celebrity is based on having the best whistleblower, but always always use discernment. That's right. You never know. People can come out and say whatever they want. One of the reasons that I wanted to interview Thomas is because he actually has a paper trail backing up his intellectual property. It's very interesting to me. Mel C says, fun fact, I couldn't put a 6 up there. They made me edit. Well, that's strange. And then Gaffer Anon says, The Matrix is one of the best documentary films of our time. Absolutely a red pill moment for me, where we go one, we go all. And the crazy thing is, the meaning of the red pill and the blue pill was actually changed in the final product. Thomas is actually going to tell us what the symbolism of the red pill and the blue pill meant in his original script. Right. Then Diane Balderon says, red pill, I come to you first every day for my evening news. I appreciate all that you do for us. Thank you very much. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Continuing on, it's now these people have the stuff, the Wachowskis are brought in by Warner Brothers. They start developing the project. When do you learn of the Matrix as a property, and when do you realize that this is based on your intellectual property?
Well, that's the amazing thing, is that they really do adhere to the idea of the art of war. Mm-hmm. It means win your battles ahead of time.
Yep.
Back to that pitch session just for a moment to illustrate this, and then we'll answer that. Bring me back to that question.
Please.
Is that, keep in mind, the handoff firm that was going to throw our case, Rios and Associates of Pasadena, mm-hmm.
Their
paralegal, Miriam Espinoza, is related to Lenny Coco.
Okay.
So they were setting
Lenny Coco was an executive
he's the one that is best friends with Bonaventura that had me pitch it in 93.
Yes.
So they were setting up the long con, see? So they had everything in place to win, to make sure that if I ever found out or came forward, which they wanted me to find out at the time they chose, mm-hmm. right, that they could benefit off it, handle it, get all my notes, that kind of stuff, and throw the case, making sure it never sees the light of day.
So let me just clarify that for the audience as well. So you're saying that your legal team, the legal team that you hired and entrusted to represent you in this matter, was actually directly connected to the studio that was trying to destroy you and steal your intellectual property.
We have the proof, because Frank Ayala at the court, at Central Court, Western Division in Hollywood, Hollywood Court, we didn't want to do it in Hollywood, but Rankin that was provided, the attorney that was provided us, landlord of the ex-wife, ex-con that was provided me to be my wife. It's just insane. They always cover the bases, like a joke. And then Rankin comes in, classmates of Linda Burrow, lead attorney who he meets in Disney World, mm-hmm. All this stuff. And then you got Frank Ayala, who's listed as endorsed as litigation support on his LinkedIn by Leslie Calderon Proctor, which is the Warner Brothers firm. So the guy who's steering me towards Rios and Associates is litigation support for Warner Brothers. And then I have him on tape from the court phone offices saying, from the records office, saying that Warner Brothers attorneys were bragging that they had Rankin in their pocket, that I had no idea how much I was being screwed. And it was the same as Avatar.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So clearly the big money in Hollywood is trying to steer the narrative on this story in real life, what happened and what was going to happen. Now, they even went so far as to basically send this woman into your life, also connected to this situation, and to become your wife and then destroy you psychologically, I would imagine. That must have been the result.
And have access to all the evidence.
And have access to the evidence. Yeah. Okay, so tell us that. How did you meet your ex-wife?
Well, that's the amazing thing. It's not uncommon. This is a strategy. Like, they always follow their playbook. And this is part of the playbook. So if you're a writer that's aspiring and seeing some red flags, watch out for a woman or a man coming in your life that seems to fit exactly the bill. They may not be what they seem, and they may be there for a reason, not to create a ooey environment. But
no, of course.
My situation. And so that's why she doesn't even identify with my son. So a long con, basically. So yeah, Rebecca Northcutt actually comes into my life, and she talks about, all of a sudden she's at my improv performance group I'm at, performing. She comes in, takes classes. She's there.
And I'm sorry, what year was this?
This is in 2005.
Okay, so well into the process.
Yeah, she comes in, and this is right when they're going to throw the statute of limitations for, 1999, you have 10 years, right? 3-year actual discovery, 10 years window.
Yeah.
And so when the window's approaching, they supply their own people, see? But they want you to know that you're ripped off. That's the amazing thing. It may be hard for audiences to grasp at first, or listeners to critically think this through, but they want you to know. Why do they want you to know? Because if they can control the process and throw your case, they have access to your evidence. They give the defendants who stole your work and want to use up the rest of the story, as Joel Silver says, all your notes, all your notebooks, everything else, So when your case is thrown, they can immediately steal again, understanding the work. So you'll see that transition where Joel Silver actually figures out robot-like agents aren't robots in the program. They're real life people acting robot-like.
Mm-hmm.
He gets it in Oblivion when he had all my notes. He didn't understand it back with Matrix.
Okay.
So yeah, Rebecca Northcutt comes into my life and starts taking this improv immediately, asks me out, says that she's a prude and she has the curled hair and the chest and the lips like Angelina Jolie. So they make these people altered look like
Sure.
like it's ideal. You're basically profiled.
Yes.
And so she's saying all the right things philosophically and everything, right? And I didn't realize she wasn't that bright. But what happens is we find out later she's got a record for prostitution from Modesto, California, and she's an ex-con. She was in jail.
Never disclosed this to you, mate.
Never.
So it sounds like
the attorney they provided me was also her landlord.
Okay, so and she didn't disclose that either.
No.
Okay, so she's essentially acting as your handler during this process. Okay, now I just want to take everybody back to something that we've talked about here on the program before. It's called a honeypot. Okay, they'll use either a good-looking woman or a good-looking man to kind of ensnare someone, because once they have them under that emotional spell, and if they want you to know how badly you've been duped, how demoralizing is it when you realize that the person that you thought you were in love with and that you thought loved you obviously is only getting paid to be there. And how much cheaper is it to pay someone with a felony criminal record, pay them, $150,000 a year, $10 million, over the course of the operation? I mean, Hollywood has unlimited amounts of money. Yeah. And you also said that you guys have a son together. Now, how long?
She said he wasn't supposed to be born. She said he wasn't supposed to be born and won't have anything to do with him.
And how long was she in you and your son's life before she just took off?
Until the case was totally thrown, until the case and appeal process was thrown.
Okay,
so she jumped the gun. When the case was thrown, she had a breakup party at our place on Maui, and I came back from work, and there's all these people celebrating I never met before.
Yeah.
They have a whole different circle, right? And so they said it's a breakup party. I'm like, what? And so then she leaves the next day, leaves Mike Lang in Spokane, Washington. Mike Lang, Harvey Weinstein's boss. And so then when they find out we can do an appeal, possibly, she's back in our life in tears. And Aiden's like, well, maybe we should give her another chance. And then she throws everything and leaves again. I know it sounds like we're idiots, but when you're gaslighted, you're trying to make it work.
Right.
And if you have a son, you're trying to make a normal family.
Of course,
so,
of course.
Yeah,
now, what else it reminds me of is Harvey Weinstein's use of Black Cube, the intelligence service from Israel. Okay, how many private intelligence services are there? I would imagine that probably every studio has their own private security service that they can use. We've had many different cases over the course of the years of people having their phones tapped, people being followed, people doing their darndest to make the people that they're watching unravel and to feel that they are losing their mind.
And see, we have contacts that actually talk to me on the phone that I tape them too, saying, these people are appearing in front of your house, idling in their cars. Neighbors would call in, but local police are in the pocket of the administrator that's there, so they don't do anything about it. And then I'm being told that they're showing up, even breaking in and standing at the bottom of the stairs and leaving, because they're showing they can get to my son anytime they want. And my last son is alive, they say, because they, quote, they know you're concerned for your last son's safety.
So who was it that said that to you?
Contacts from Disney and Warner Brothers.
Okay.
Contacts. Again, there's an echelon and layers of strata of different players.
Right. Intermediaries.
Yeah. And keep in mind, this is also something amazing. When Becca leaves, and she wanted her success in Spokane, Washington, the contact actually said that she left because it was from Mike Lang's ego. Mike Lang. On my birthday, for a greater effect, his birthday and holidays, we've got the email.
And explain to the audience who Mike Lang is.
Harvey Weinstein's boss from Disney.
Harvey Weinstein's boss from Disney. Okay.
Right. He takes my wife to bed in Spokane, Washington. We've got the email. So he tried to strike it from all our devices, but I've got to send it to you. If I haven't yet, I'll send it to you. But it's like,
if you want to send it to me, I'll pull it up on screen so people can see it.
Yeah. It's pretty freaky. And so, I'll have to navigate here.
And just so you know, Thomas, many people in the chat are saying that you should be writing your own autobiography. This is a movie in and of itself. However, the only thing is, guys, it's not done yet.
It's just really astute of them, because what's going on is real life. Hollywood right now is vying for our real life story. They want our real life story. And that's why I'm not being killed or tracked down now or run down by cars anymore. Because apparently they want the protagonist to have a life at the end of the story.
Sure.
So now we're worth a fortune, my son and I, apparently, our real life story. So it's very astute, your guests have said.
Now, I'm going to read these last two super chats. Lars said on March 13th, the FBI tweeted a dog on a hoverboard by the Back to the Future DeLorean. Movie was made and took place in 1985. March 13th, mark it up. 1,985 points. That's we're living in a movie. Miss Kiss a Kitty says Jesuits destroy from within. Yes, that's exactly what it sounds like. So now you've said a couple of times, Thomas, that you lost two sons throughout this ordeal.
Yes.
What was? Let's talk about them. What were their names, and how did you lose each of them?
Well, the thing is, back with Pat Robertson, this all started, right? And that's really the genesis of the Mike Lang story. I'm multitasking here, but I'm going to answer the question as I get this email for you. But the thing is that what happened was they were ripped away from me. And so here comes the email you wanted, by the way, attaching it. But they're ripped away from me. My jobs are taken. Everything's gone. And what they do is they're given sessions by social workers for Robertson, right? Mm-hmm. And what they're doing is trying to convince them that their dad is really, really bad, right? And evil and narcissistic and paranoid schizophrenic and all that stuff. Okay, the Mike Lang emails are coming to you now. Boom. There they go. Okay, good. But anyway, so they're being programmed and reconditioned to think their dad is bad. It's part of the strategy, strip away loved ones, strip away jobs.
Of course.
Isolate you, all that kind of stuff. And so that was what they went through. Now, when they're 30 years old, they come back to me. Kirk comes back first and says, Dad, there was these sessions that occurred. And we were told we couldn't contact you, we're to like you, or, you're supposed to be evil and you did horrible things. We're supposed to believe that. And he said, the daughter caved first. And then she said, Sean didn't know what to do. So they let him off. And they told me, Dad, Kirk said, that unless I believe what they're telling me, the sessions won't stop. So I pretended to believe. So that's why Kirk's the first one killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so after Kirk tells me as a 30-year-old man, he goes out to the military base in Japan and is killed in the lap pool, which is a Messianic death.
And okay, so your son, who was an expert swimmer,
swimmer diver,
died in just a pool, a lap pool. So shallow pool. Okay, yeah. And that's
the military base.
Now you were told some different things about that. Now, one of the things that I'd asked you previously is, was there an autopsy? Was there any type of postmortem done? Were you allowed to view the body, to identify him?
No, they cremated him.
They cremated him before you were even notified,
before I had a chance to even see him.
Okay. And he was in the military at this time, and where was that at?
He had been in the military, honorably discharged.
Okay. Let me just pull this up. So there's 3 different images right here. And, okay.
Now you're going to see something that says, in the one, you'll see it lightly, it says Mike Lang, Z at Zion. And you'll see the thing where it says, Becca, move in with me for 60 days at the bottom of the one.
Yes.
Okay. That also had the pictures attached to it, which you'll see the pictures. They weren't called up in the video shot, a picture shot I took. But you'll also see the pictures of the bed with the shaving kit on it.
Yes.
And the multi-million-dollar property in Spokane, Washington, which is Playground of Hollywood.
Okay, I'm going to pull this up on
the on my birthday, July 2nd, see?
Okay.
So that means Mike Lang's caught with his pants down, literally. And the contact that called me said he did it for his ego. It's kind of the way you destroy males, demasculate them, is to take their wife to bed, right? It's common in Hollywood. And so the Harvey Weinstein idea, his boss does it too. So what happens is then, since we had the emails, they struck it from all our devices, but we had it on external drive.
Sure.
So then Frida Babson, what I did to defeat Mike Lang's strategy, once that led a trail back to what was going on, I saw Mike Lang was involved. And I did talk to him, and there's a very colorful recording I have of him.
You have a conversation with Mike Lang you recorded?
Recorded.
Okay.
Yeah. He's telling me to pull my head out of my blanket.
What did he admit any type of relationship with your wife, or?
Well, she was right there with him.
They were together when you were talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there any kind of cover story as to how her and Mike Lang came to know each other? Or did they admit that they had been acquainted the length of your relationship?
There was no time. It was like they pulled this off immediately when the conversation happened on a phone between Becca and I, right? Where she sent us to Canada, Aiden and I, for our safety quote. And then she's supposed to follow. Well, she didn't follow. And so that's when we looked and found these emails. And so just before we looked and found those emails, she had said on the phone, Tom, careful, they could be taping. I said, we've got them with the Lenny Coco tape. This is before the Cypher guys are contacting us and everybody else. We got them now crazily. We got them now with all the evidence. But back then, we had the Lenny Coco tape, the guy that had me, pitch at his house and admitted everything, which defeats Warner Brothers' claims of no access. So anyway, best friends of Bonaventura. So I'm talking about that saying, look, honey, we got this, right? We got this. And she starts saying, careful, they could be listening. They listen in, they tap. And I said, well, what are they going to do about it? They said, well, there's nothing they really can do. I can't be bought off or anything. I mean, it's incredible what she was saying. She said, the only way I could possibly be taken was if they offered me instant success in Spokane, Washington. No.
That's a rather specific thing to say.
Yeah, it's like if you give me 5 million pounds in gold and a latte, I'll do it. It's like, So next thing that happens,
she says that, and then that comes to pass. She becomes successful in Spokane. It's very odd.
We wonder where she is, and we see the Mike Lang emails. So the contacts, to follow up what you just said, the contacts tell me on tape, recorded, that, Mike Lang did it for his ego, but that ego shot just cost him the whole Hollywood cartel being revealed. So look for Mike Lang to disappear is hard to give out soon. Probably.
All right. Now,
but Becca said that Becca did it because it was for her success and to have money and power.
Of course. I mean, for many people, that's, all it would take. Now, but also, I mean, if she had been a part of a larger ruse just to ruin you or destroy your case, I mean, she might have been expecting that, I guess. Now,
her reward, right. But they already expunged her record, so, I mean, she already had a reward.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, that would be most a good thing for a lot of people to have their record expunged. So, now, just, as a little bit more background, your second son who was killed, what were the circumstances surrounding his death?
Well, keep in mind that when the reason they want you to know about your stuff being stolen, so you'll launch a case under their attorneys and their people, right, in their court choice of venue, is because they can access all your materials through what they call as discovery, where they give you none, right? And incidentally, we have a tape of their attorneys, thanks to Rankin, giving me the wrong tape recorder back during my own deposition. We didn't have any depositions of them. But on mine, the 7 hours and plus, they actually say on that tape, where you gave me the wrong tape recorder back, way to go, Rankin, is that they have, it's a moot point to ask for any discovery because they have no working drafts or source materials. Are you serious?
Right.
You don't have any working drafts or source.
When you have the proof, though, that you sent them.
We got the MP3. I can say the MP3.
Yes.
Yeah, it's on tape. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I can send that to you, too.
Okay.
I mean, that's why they call me the library. I got all this stuff. That's why so much has been spent. And people go, well, why didn't he come forward and deal with this through the courts? You're not going to get a fair shot.
Sure.
I'm a living example. Plus, they're taking away your jobs, killing off your sons, taking your women to bed, destroying your life, making sure you don't have a career, making sure your contacts are gone, harassing you constantly, helicopters flying over, people appearing. You don't have time to even breathe while you're trying to keep your last son alive.
Oh, of course.
That's why you're not coming forward.
This must have been very stressful for you the whole time. I mean, trying to just keep this straight and, get the case going. Now, how was your second son killed? He was killed in a car accident?
Well, what happened was Joel Silver announced Alter Carbon.
Okay.
Right? While he's announcing Alter Carbon, a car runs me down in Canada.
Okay.
Right? We're in Canada, where Becca sent me, right?
Yes.
And the car runs me down. It's a government car. The same car that delivers government papers to our house runs me down.
And just so the audience knows, that car never stopped. They didn't try to assist you in any way.
No,
it was a hit and run. It was a hit and run.
Mazda, charcoal gray Mazda SV. And so, that seems to be the one that sponsors the Hollywood cartel. There's always these same make showing up. I think it's because they want you to have the identification of it and realize this is happening.
Okay.
Voodoo thing. But the thing is that after it misses, they announced Alter Carbon. So Joel Silver was taking care of his loose end, where his problem, and then announced at the same time, which is very interesting because Alter Carbon. Alter Carbon. Well, the next day, what happens is we talk to Sean on the phone.
And Sean is your son?
Son, yeah, the other son.
Okay.
And so he's talking to Aiden, my 13-year-old, right, my other son. So they're talking together. And they're saying, Dad, be careful. And they're saying how they're going to make the film, the real life film. They want to make it. We'll do this together. Aiden, Sean, talking. It was a beautiful moment. Last one they've had, right? First time I really see them getting together. And then they're telling me to drive safe, be careful. And Sean's very mild-mannered, right? I raised mild-mannered boys. And so what happens is he gets off the phone. Next day, he's killed. He's killed. But
how was he killed? And
that's the thing.
Yeah.
Brian Fitzpatrick is our Pennsylvania congressman.
Okay.
The reason I'm saying this is he has my sister in his pocket. And what they do is they get family members employed for them. Brian Fitzpatrick somehow is our Pennsylvania congressman, while at the same time he's California FBI.
Okay. And now, but how do you know that there's a connection between him and the FBI? I mean, does he have
the articles? We have the articles.
Okay.
So I have the actual articles where it says it. Let me see if it's here.
All right. But now, before you show us the article, it's important for the audience to understand why the circumstances surrounding your son's death are fishy, because you had told me that he was driving a car and he was hit by a snowplow. Now, if someone is going to be killed in an accident like that, you would expect to see a fairly sizable damage to the vehicle. Okay, and you said that the dent in your son's passenger side door was very minimal, correct?
Yeah, it looked like they put the snowplow up against the car on the passenger side, right? Which raises the question how to get there, and it's only a little dent. And so, how was he killed instantly?
Exactly.
The reason is that Fitzpatrick brags in this article that he has control of the law enforcement apparatus, he calls it.
Okay, but in Canada or here in
he was killed in the States while it was being run down in Canada. Trudeau administration and Hollywood are in bed together.
Okay, so you're saying that the accident, the hit and run on you, and the accident that killed your son happened almost simultaneously? They were on the same.
Just afterwards, yeah. After we talked, right after it happened to me, we got on the phone with Sean, Aiden, and I.
Yes.
And we're saying, "Be careful. We're proud of you. Be careful, Dad." Da da da. And he's starting to remember the Robertson sessions. The next day, he's killed.
Okay. And were you ever allowed to see Sean's body?
He was cremated also. Wasn't allowed to see it.
Okay. You guys, this is why it's important and why I want to bring this up to show you just how diabolical this is. How many of you have lost a family member? How many people here have lost someone close to them? And especially a father to a son, father to a daughter, losing your child. It doesn't matter how old they are. They're going to call you to identify that body. They're going to call you to make arrangements for that body. How many times have you seen a person who's deceased just on two different occasions, two different people in your family be immediately cremated before you were allowed to even make the identification on the body? One time, maybe I can understand. Two times, that is statistically significant. Now, when we started earlier, you had said that there was a case against Warner Brothers, and you did receive some national media attention on it the first time. But the mainstream interviews that I heard, they were almost dismissive of your claims. It seemed like
because TMZ announced it, owned by Warner Brothers, and the lead attorney for Warner Brothers, Linda Burrow, was also TMZ's attorney. Okay. So they did the whole thing, and they said like, "Oh, Tom Althouse was contacted, refused to." I wasn't contacted. They railroaded the whole thing, and they went so far as to have the Wachowskis, showing their faces on the TMZ article, saying, "You're no nothing hack, famous for nothing." Exactly the talking points they want, claiming I wouldn't return calls. But the thing is that, it was totally a railroaded thing.
And meanwhile, you were on the phone almost on a daily basis with these intermediaries trying to talk to them.
Trying to contact them,
All right. Now, somebody wants us to explain the red pill, blue pill. But before we do that, I just want to ask, in both of those instances, because they happened in two different states, correct? Your son dying and the other son dying.
Different countries. Yeah.
Different countries. Okay. Maybe I can understand the one where your son dies in a different country, obviously different protocols, but who authorized the cremation of your son, Sean, who died here in the United States? And what state was that?
Pennsylvania was in that one here. And that would have been I had an ex-wife that was a Robertson fan that helped work with Robertson. Like, how Becca was provided?
Yes.
Miss Nancy States worked with Robertson's group and still does.
Okay.
And so they're going to make sure, she made sure that the social workers had access, Robertson's social workers, they got to do the programming and would make sure that I had no way to identify the body.
Okay. All right. So she's the one who authorized the cremation, or you don't know?
I guess so. I'm kept out of the loop completely.
Okay. All right. Now, I was just wondering, since you had mentioned the connection between the state senator and your sister, if it would be possible that there's a connection between the cremation of your son and this powerful elected governmental representative.
Fitzpatrick is not liked in our area. He is not acting as a congressman. He's acting as an operative. And that's clear from the article, if I can find it again here. The article talks about him being integral in working with the Canadian government, too, in downing the Ukrainian prosecutors that he said weren't doing it fast enough. And so basically what's done to me is also being done to other internationals.
Sure.
And it's the same tactics, destroy their career, destroy their lives, destroy their family. That's what he does. And he calls it, he says in an article that's supposed to be a cover article for him, local newspaper. It says that the FBI usually doesn't get involved in these type things, but in this case it's special, where Fitzpatrick gets to be part of a Bureau for Anti-Corruption. And I'm telling you, like I said before, it sounds like, I don't know the right term, Japanese Kempri or whatever, the ones that went around and you smash your dog up if it wasn't pooing properly. It's like, this kind of thing. It's just horrible.
Now,
and so this man has all this power and has given all these rewards to my sister, black tie dinners. And that's after my sister was like 100% with me and cheering me on to finish all this stuff. Next thing we know, in fact, I have a note here from her before she gets approached and turned, where she was like, the Emmys, keep going, Tom. Here's ethics on psychology.
Right.
Don't let that you have rights, and don't let anybody try to sway you like Robertson's doing.
Yes.
To turning 100% and saying every one of Robertson's talking points.
Okay.
So she's working with Fitzpatrick, who works with Robertson.
All right.
And so she gets black tie dinners, trips to London, trips to the Caribbean, same place Trudeau went with a millionaire yacht.
Yeah.
Gets to be president of school psychologists, even though she's just a unlicensed counselor for an elementary school.
Right.
So it's
It's bizarre. Well, okay, so just so we're everybody knows, we're about 15 minutes out from the call-in section. So I want you guys to have your questions ready for Thomas here, and you'll be able to ask them in the second hour. But Thomas, people might ask, why would the studio go to so much trouble to stop this from coming out? Why would they want to stop you so much? I mean,
because of Robertson's involvement. You see, what's happening is, remember I said it was part of Robertson's campaign, or when he was running for president.
Yes.
And he told me a lot. I was being groomed to be the face of the Christian Coalition. Like the blue eyes, dimples, blonde hair at the time.
Sure.
So I was considered like their poster boy, just like Ralph Reed. So the thing is, as I'm being groomed, I'm privy to information, and that's what I'm whispering through art, through the Matrix story, the Immortals. So that ending that the Wachowskis wanted to keep intact, where they say, fans of the Wachowskis would know, or Matrix would know, that there's articles that they were told, blow up the Matrix, blow up the Matrix. So they say everybody on set said blow up the Matrix. And they kept my exact ending. It doesn't work if you rip the spine out. But my exact ending points right to what Robertson's plans were for our world.
Okay. I was also imagining that the dollar amount that this case might be worth to the studio. What kind of liability would the studio be liable for in terms of cash award if you're able to prove in a court of law?
We're told we're up to $1 billion now.
To $1 billion. Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder how much money this trilogy of films has made over the last couple of decades. Also, now they're making a fourth one. Okay, so I think it's a perfect time for you to tell us the symbolism that you intended for the red pill and the blue pill.
Absolutely. See, the Wachowskis simplified everything, and ask me about the train station scene sometime too, because I can go into how they simplified everything. They told the suits they would get it under budget. That's why they finally got given the right to go ahead and be the ones selected, while they screamed and kicked for it, right? They wanted to give it the science project so they could, make it in Hollywood when they thought they had to pack their bags and leave since they failed at Assassins. They brought another writer in. The red pill. In mine, and there's the red pill and blue pill are in two hands. Obviously, we remember iconic images now where they're offering it like an Alice in Wonderland story.
Right. Red pill is to wake up and know the truth. Right. Blue pill is to stay asleep.
I see that as garbage. That's just too simplified.
Okay.
In mine, which was intended as they simplified it, mine was the red pill was the pill you didn't have a choice. If you're selected to join the program, you're given the red pill. It's either that or your family dies. And I think it's interesting they put me in my own story. They killed my family, most of them. So they're putting me in my own story, Hollywood context tell me. And now they want that story to profit off it.
I want to tell that story too.
Yeah, the blue pill. The blue pill isn't an option pill. Not in my story. The blue pill is the bootleg pill, blue pill, that's used by underground leaders. And so what they do is they create a bootleg pill which can get them in the program, immortality somewhat, but they age and have painful side effects. That was the intention. That there's they have a bootleg pill, which is a red pill, which is blue.
Okay, so blue pill is bootleg, maybe almost not perfected in a simulation of the effects of the red pill. Okay,
I thought it was a better storyline.
Well, yeah, I completely understand. Okay, Eric Anderson says Spokane means children of the sun in Salishan. I don't know what Salishan means, but Sean Weems, thank you for the super chat. Patricia Marshall, she says finally made it late, better late than never. Thank you for that as well. Now, what I'm going to do here, Thomas, is I'm going to go to the still image from that scene in The Matrix. And actually, give me a second, because I'm going to go ahead and save this, and then I'm going to turn it upside down so that people can actually read it. But tell us what we're going to be looking at here. What is this still image of?
Okay. All right. So is it up?
No, not yet. But you can go ahead and.
Are we talking about the first graphic in the interrogation scene?
We're talking about this one right here, which shows the database records.
Yes. Oh my God. Okay, this is crucial. And this is what Warner Brothers did not want entered into court, and that's why they provide their own attorneys, partly too. So what you're looking at is, let me pull it up myself so I can actually address it with you. The red pill, let's see, wait a minute, 1 second, I'll get it right here. That's not it. 1 second.
So, and I'll read what it says. It says database record, security clearance factor 7, date of last amendment or addition, 22nd of July, 1998, and it's personal details about Neo, Thomas A. Anderson.
Right. So what you're going to see on there, I can just wing it without having it up.
I would like to ask you this. Did you put your own name in your story, Thomas Althouse?
No, I didn't put me as my main lead character. I did model the protagonist after me because as a young writer, you write with what you know, and so I was writing myself in because I would know how I'd feel and react to the circumstances.
Yes.
So then they even dressed me like that. They put the tie on me, the white shirt that I used to wear at Robert's organization, and it looks like me, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, so here we go. So
it has the birth date, 11th of March, 1968. Is that 1969?
Well, what you got there too, look at the banner one, the one that says July 22nd, 1998.
Yes.
Okay, this is important because what they did was they sneak it in this way. In fact, Susanna Bolgen, the graphic designer for Warner Brothers, right, for the Wachowskis' Matrix films, says that anything in for a split second is for the Wachowskis' eyes only. I would never have seen this graphic or knew it was there or understood it because it's only in for a split second. You can even see the graphic. The best shot we get is a turning page at the bottom. See the turning page at the bottom?
Right. And this is something that they do often in movies. They will put in little Easter eggs, little clues, which are relevant to the people making the film, or maybe they'll put in information for like people who are related to people who are making the film.
Yes.
But in this case, this information here is directly related to you.
Right down the line.
And so spell it out for us.
Okay, here you go.
Why is the 22nd of July?
You would never take a chance. So Susanna Bolgen says that everything's stacked here. They stack it to get the joke through because the clearance department of Warner Bros. Has to tweak everything, right? That's why you get like Burger King is King Hamburger or something. Anyway, so 22nd July. The reason that's pertinent to us is in our story right now is that July 22nd was my birthday according to records in 1996.
Okay.
So that's it. Now, what's interesting is later they're going to correct it to July 2nd as it is. You're going to see Thomas A. Anderson, right? Now, I realized that they were working with the Cypher people at Marvel Comics at the same time Larry's working directly with them. And those Cypher people have just contacted my paralegal and I as of today.
Okay, and before we continue with that thought, I want the audience to understand who the Cypher people are. The Cypher, that's the Marvel comic that was based on The Matrix?
Well, Wachowskis used them to help kind of launder it, but they were also being used at the same time. So now they're making it clear to me and my paralegal, they're saying that, yes, Larry Wachowski ripped you off. Yes, Larry Wachowski used the structure of your piece to do it, and the similarities are obvious.
Okay.
So that's just been today. So all these Hollywood people are coming on board now, and that includes Paul Anderson.
Okay, so...
You have Thomas A. Anderson, a blend. Thomas A., me, Anderson, him, but also Anderson is our Scottish clan name, so they have a double whammy. Okay,
so and who is Paul Anderson? Is that like Paul?
He's the UK author of the Cypher series.
Okay, all right,
and which was done with Larry.
Okay, and then
you go down. So you got July 22nd. My birthday as it was listed in 1996. Thomas A. Anderson, which is my clan name, but also Paul's last name.
Yep.
Thomas A., my name.
Yep.
Then you have
your birthday.
John Anderson is my dad's name. John A.
Okay.
Clan name.
And then, but it does the
Go ahead.
11th of March, 1968. Does that have any relevance?
It does. March 11th is an important date. I got to look it up again, but it deals with one of my loved ones.
Okay.
So that was close to.
And then what about Lover? Is that say Lover Downtown? I can't read
Lower
it.
Downtown Capital City. See, my setting for the piece of my guy who was Thomas A., which wasn't the name I used, my protagonist, was Washington, D.C., so they call it Capital City.
Okay, all right.
And then at the bottom, you have Central West Junior High. My high school was Central West High. So they tweaked it to junior high. Yeah, if you go over to 2 graphics on the site, or three graphics, you'll see my diploma from Central West High.
Okay, all right. And
so that's what they're doing. They didn't think anybody would see it, but the insider from Warner Brothers said they couldn't stand Wachowskis. They were arrogant. They knew they ripped them off, and so they called me as soon as the story broke. How many times
have we talked about this, guys? How many times have we talked about the way that they will insert these types of things into popular culture? Maybe events that take place before they actually take place. We've talked about that very often in regards to CV-19. So it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that they've done this. Now, before we open up the phones for people to call in, let's talk about. Give us a rundown of anybody. Oh, there's more. Okay, all right.
But yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah.
No.
So you got July 22nd, Thomas A. Anderson. You got John Anderson, John A., my dad's name, Central West High, my high school.
Yep.
And then you have Michelle McGahey, the art director, as Neo's mom. Michelle McGahey is the art director.
Okay.
And you have Owen Patterson High. Owen Patterson is the production manager.
Okay. All
so
right.
They're putting the full thing as a joke. All of it's a joke. And then they blame, the only testimony we ever got, because they were very concerned about this graphic, was they don't deny it. We have their testimony here where they say it's Michelle McGahey and Owen Patterson's fault that this graphic is here with my information.
Okay, so someone from the studio is blaming them for including this stuff?
Larry Wachowski's blaming them for putting my stuff in.
Okay, and
this is before the film released.
Okay, so now
and
just
look at the column. What is more? TA 4099. See the bold block letters, column numbers?
Yeah, 380.
Well, I was 40 and 99. TA was 40 and 99. And then they're into numerology. See the 380?
Yep.
Okay, what does 380 mean in numerology? Quote, to let go of the worldly things and possessions you hold close to your heart, which means my family and my intellectual property. Explained to me. So they put 380 in numerology along with 40 TA 99, which Larry was obsessed by my age, obsessed by it, and myself, I was told. So they have in there that they're doing me a favor, basically. They're doing a favor, taking me from my worldly things and possessions so I can prepare for my death.
Wow. This is just an incredible amount of coincidences. And then, real quick, when we go to the clock, where's the clock?
Two slides over.
Hang on, let me get it pulled up. Okay, yep, the clock. I've got the clock.
Okay, there you go. Now see, it's filling the screen. Usually in clocks in movies, they're at 10 after 10. The smiling hands,
yep.
Fans we know, 10 after 10, right? Usually it's this industry joke, like 555 for phone numbers, right? That way you're insured not to have any copyright infringement.
Okay.
So they don't want to take any chances at all. There we go, the clearance department. Now what you have here is, remember they had July 22nd as my birthday in 1996, according to records at the time.
Yes.
So here, what do we have? 7, black hands, 7, 2, 1 before the 60s, 59. So July 2nd, 59 is right there. That's my exact birthday.
Okay. All right.
And then the red hand's pointing to 4 past the 4. I was 44 in 2003.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
And then a red hand on a 4, I'm told by the insider, means assassination. You're to be killed.
So this is an insider from Warner Brothers Studios?
Yeah, story department. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have? I'm not asking you to divulge that person's name, but
he never gave me his name. He said he would call me again later once I won.
Okay. All right. Now,
he thought this would blow the lid off of everything.
Now, just so that everybody is aware, this still image is from the Animatrix, which was the animated film that went along with the Matrix. Let's see.
You know why they created it?
Why is that?
Why they created the Animatrix? Because they wanted to use up their whole story. Joel Silver in the 2003 quote in the article, when they're on set, he says when they're finishing Matrix 2 and 3 and the Animatrix, that he hoped they use up the rest of the story. Well, if you made the script and forged it and made it airtight and then put union people on it, you would know. But Animatrix was all the clever lifted ideas and visuals from my screenplays
that were unused.
That's right.
Okay.
So they put them into shorts.
All right.
And
well,
stuck my information in it.
We know that they love numerology and gematria. Thank you, Katie, for saying that. Now, Banshee Bane says, I really feel for this man, and if I was in his position, I wouldn't be able to hold it together. I would like to know more about Robertson and the CBN. That's when you guys will call in with your questions. Now, Banshee's Bane also says, any info on Neo's passport expiring on 9/11/2001?
That was intentional.
That was intentional. Okay.
Yes, because I talked to him in the screenplay about a false flag. Robertson wanted to do a false flag if he was president to have an endless war and suspend all our rights and powers so he could basically become a dictator.
Okay.
That's why the false flag's in the Immortal screenplay.
All right. Now, Julia for Freedom says she's sad for Thomas. The light and love, unbeatable. Light and love is unbeatable. Where we go one, we go all. Yeah. Worldwide. Then Dielio7 says, please do your best to get along within the Matrix. Love you guys. I don't have any problem within the Matrix, guys. I've never said anything bad about him, and I never will. All right. So I don't have any differences, guys. It's not on my end. Banshee's Bane says any info on that. Definitely. All right. So guys, it's time for us to open up the phones. What I'm going to do here is, as always, I will be putting the phone number and the code so you can call in, and then I'm also going to drop the link to the Zoom into the chat box, and you guys will be able to call in and join the conversation. So I'm just going to ask that everybody please keep your segment, your question on topic. Please do not call in and swear online. I will ban you as much as I don't want to. I do everything in my power to keep this show as family friendly as I can. Please do not use profanity when you call in, because it's just not the kind of show that I want to put out.
I wanted to also add for you too, just let you know that this is such a pivotal moment in our history, because right now Sophia Stewart's working with the former attorney that was provided, so she's planning to sabotage, throw things, and attack all the time. And meanwhile, the guys from Cypher are stepping forward. Everything's falling apart in Hollywood.
And let's just say for the audience, so Sophia Stewart is the other screenwriter who claims to have written The Matrix, and she brought a lawsuit as well.
She doesn't even have a screenplay.
She doesn't have a screenplay.
No,
she just, okay.
No.
All right.
30 pages.
Chris Hawkins says, have to catch the replay. Love y'all. Comfy Sunday is always good. Oh, Chris, I'll see you tomorrow then, buddy, and I hope you enjoy the replay. Master Templar says, Disney is an evil monopoly, similar to the ones that Teddy Roosevelt fought. It needs to be broken up. I would argue that there are many monopolies existing and operating here in the United States and globally today. We've talked about this many times on the program before. There's only 5 or 6 media conglomerates that own absolutely everything. Here is the Zoom link, guys. I'm dropping that in there one more. We've got Beardley. Hey, Beardley, what's up, buddy? This is a friend from Twitter. I don't think he's called in before. Beardley, are you there? He's got to get his microphone working. So, guys, so this is not about another YouTube star, guys. This is about another YouTube personality. And we're talking about The Matrix, the movie, which was originally titled The Immortals. The Immortals was never made into a film. It was pitched to studio, who then took it and repurposed it, and they made it into several other films. Beardley, are you there, buddy?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can, man. Hey, I'm glad that you called in.
Hey, man, it's awesome to finally do this. I've been thinking about calling for a while, and I just didn't because I didn't have a good headset, but now I've got a good headset. So
cool. Well,
I called in, and this dude's his story is totally believable, man. I mean, I remember reading about Led Zeppelin stealing the song "Stairway to Heaven," and then they went. I mean, it was so obvious when you listen to the original song that they claimed had been stolen. From that they stole the song, but of course the Led Zeppelin won in court. So all I have to say, I hope this guy has a good lawyer, because if he does, then he'll win. Hopefully. But these people, that's what they do. If you write something good and you're not part of the establishment, they'll steal it from you or just bury it,
Absolutely. Somebody keeps saying Gray Hughes is a lowlife. I don't know who Gray Hughes is, so I don't know who that's supposed to be.
I don't know who Gray Hughes is either.
No, Beardley. So yeah, Beardley, obviously we've been friends on Twitter for a long time, dude. So I'm very happy to have you here on the show for the first time. What's your question for Thomas here?
I don't really have one. I just wanted to call in and say, hey, love the show, and man, keep telling the world the truth about what happened to you, man, and the right things will happen for you, you know.
I will, because Contacts even said to me, I recorded that too. The Contacts have told me 2 different occasions that my son is alive because I'm doing interviews, and it's what kept him alive.
Yeah, well, you know, so this isn't, it's not The Matrix. This is like a different movie.
No, it's the original title, The Matrix, was The Immortals, and then they had 342 other titles set aside for anyone who wanted to have a take on it to use, and that's how they did it. And here's an example right here, if you can see it. So this is actually from the Copyright Office.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, there's 340, no body of work, but 346 other titles. And what's interesting is, look at this. What they did was they, in the end entry in 96, when I'm coming to Hollywood, they put it under the 2 biggest investment firms in the world. So how do the investment firms suddenly claim creative ownership of my work?
I don't know. It's mind blowing. It seems like you have proof that they really did rip off.
Yeah, we got them now. And they're even conceding on Contacts are calling and saying, you've won the chess game. And I'm responding saying, this isn't a game at all.
No, that's awesome, dude. Let me ask you this, though. Okay, so in the movie The Matrix, there's this well-known bit of predictive programming where Mr. Anderson's ID is shown, and it's his, I think it was either the date of his birth or the date the ID expires. It was 9/11.
Yeah.
You know anything about that?
Yeah, that was intentional, because I've even been approached by, brought in the Masons by CIA operatives like Lauren Holmberg on Maui. A lot of times they're artists that design like those metal gates for Maui, rich people and stuff like that. But a lot of our operatives are artists because we think outside the box. I was actually courted myself. So he brings me into the Matrix and tells me my mind's going to be blown with all the knowledge I'm going to receive, and just don't try to make a difference, he told me. And I said, well, I think I can, which was the wrong response.
Wow.
But the thing is that, yes, he told me even in the sessions that 9/11 was an inside job, it's common knowledge, and I can't believe the public doesn't get it.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing, man.
That's why they call me the library now, because all questions were answered by insiders. So I now am the library. So I'm a real threat. That's why they're going to kill me. Now they were going to 302 me. They were trying to 302 me, which was like put me away for good and criminally insane, because I know all the information now, because I had the wherewithal to ask the questions. I thought,
while it's like you know too much.
Yeah, so I'm called the library. Disney calls me the library.
Well, and that's why it's so important for you to stay in the light, because the more visibility you have, the less likely they're going to be able to get rid of you and to put you away for good. All right,
that's why I'm so grateful you're doing this too, and anybody else that can do an interview would be helpful. But thank you for doing this. If you
absolutely.
Thanks for the call, buddy.
I have to say, you know, God bless you guys. God bless you, Red Pill. You know, you guys are doing God's work, getting the truth out there.
Thanks, brother.
And stay in the light, guys. Stay in the light always.
Yep, 100%. God bless. Thanks for the call.
Yep. Peace out.
All right. Peace. Okay. Thank you for the call, Beardley. Appreciate it. Let's moving on to the next one. Next call is Tim Becker. Tim, what's up, my friend? We got to get your microphone turned on, and please say hello. And thanks for calling in. What's your question for Thomas?
Hey, what's going on? First, Red Pill, I'm glad you're doing okay after last week.
Thanks, bud.
Thomas, you're man, we owe you so much. It's one of the greatest stories ever told. And I'm sure all of the fans on here are so appreciative. Just the term red pilling someone came from you. So give yourself a round of applause, man.
Well, then you might like the idea I have for you all. I'll just share it with you as your question surfaces, is that we plan to either win in court or make the film itself and show it. And then I'm giving my copyright to every man, woman, and child on this planet. So you can each do your own take on it. So you'll all own the Matrix, and that'll debunk the Hollywood system.
Very cool. Very cool.
That's very cool. I didn't have a question. I just had a idea. Run.
Okay.
It's Hollywood, man. They're scary people. If they're messing with your children, who cares about money?
Yeah.
No, that's right. They think it's all about money.
Call in and say hi, but great to talk to you, man. Peace.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Tim. Appreciate it, buddy.
All right. See you later, Red Pill.
All right. Peace. All right. So, you know, I want to know what is the next step in this new lawsuit? I mean, like, what has to happen in order for this to take place?
There's a two-front process, and I think writers need to realize this. If your work is getting the attention and worth a lot, and you're being assailed, what you do is, first of all, interviews. If anybody's gracious enough to host you, get your facts, your evidence together, hang in there, do not give up, like my son said. He made this great tribute piece and everything. Mm-hmm. You got to realize you're on two fronts. One front is the court system, which is going to be a real uphill battle. You got to watch it. They're going to provide people that are really tempting, just like they provided my wife. And people are going to be in there to destroy and derail your case. That's what they're going to do, and get access to your work. As soon as you smell a red flag, dump them. It doesn't matter what they're going to do. But the next front is the public front. You've got to educate the public. You got to let them know your facts, and you got to get it out there somehow, and make your film. So the best thing that writers can do nowadays, until Hollywood gets changed and there's investigations into some of our agencies that are working with Hollywood, is make your film independently. Don't look to these studios. They're going to rip you off. Make your film independently, and that way you'll have definitive proof that your film was yours. Now, fortunately, when I get this copyright here from the Copyright Office and stepped in, yes, I've got this. I was told that what they were going to do is switch this out at the Copyright Office for 8 pages of scribbled notes, quote. So we got it in time, thanks to the specialist and the director. If we make this piece with all these similarities that are tabbed all through here, then we've shown we win. That's why they're saying you got the power now. You've won the game. The reason they're saying that is, first of all, yes, you'll have influence as the writer that wrote the piece being established with the evidence you have, but also by making the piece, that they try to put an injunction on me and say, wait a minute, there's a similarity, Jack's the neck, they just proved our case. If they don't do anything and just let it ride, then people can come with a checklist, love or hate it, and see 191 matchups at least. And that proves our case too. So we've got them in a catch-22. They cannot win anymore. They can't kill me anymore. They can't take my last son. We're too public. In fact, the 302 attempt where they tried to put me away as a criminally insane failed miserably under Fitzpatrick and the paid-off sister and family. And so therefore the interviews started. They started, one had 8 the 1 week before. It's like now we're getting contact from Norway, Scotland, Germany, all over the place. It's like people are getting it because we have people doing critical thinking now. So this is the perfect time. You don't have to wait for the future.
Absolutely. Now, many people have been mentioning this, and this is something that I've thought since the beginning, is that I should hook you up with my friend Tiffany Fitzhenry. She is a former screenwriter who's been speaking out about the Hollywood system and the diabolical things that they do.
I'm hearing the name a lot. That would be great.
Yeah, she's great. She's awesome. Okay, so my friend Maga Jedi is on the line, and Maga Jedi is also a filmmaker. He's actually making a documentary about General Flynn right now, along with the family. Good friend of the program. Maga Jedi, we just need to get your microphone on, buddy. Let me see. No other super chats to go over. People have been asking if you had any actors in mind to play these roles in your film. Had you thought about Keanu Reeves?
Great question. We're actually thinking of using nameless people, no names.
Sure.
We want people who are genuine, real, and have a shot. Why not, if the piece was made for the people and all people, then why not bring in people and give them a chance?
Okay.
And get away from the Hollywood gristmill.
All right. Well, here's Maga Jedi. What's up, buddy? I just unmuted you.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to keep track of the live stream.
Sure, not a problem.
I jumped into the show late, so help me catch up for a little bit. Is this in the Matrix?
No. This is Thomas Althouse. He is the original writer of the screenplay called The Immortals that was stolen by Warner Brothers and turned into the Matrix series of films.
Okay. All right. Hey, Thomas, man, I'm a big fan, and I'm sorry to hear. I'm still trying to get up to speed. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I heard Pat Robertson is involved in this?
Yes, very much so. That's really the genesis of the material.
Okay. Wow. Well, that confirms a lot of suspicions I've had over the years, especially where CBN was founded. And I think Edgar Casey was involved in the original location of that. Wow. I'm so sorry to hear what happened. My head's kind of swimming. I'm trying to catch up on everything that's going on. I'll be praying for you. And
thank you.
If there's anything I can do to help. And
word out is the thing. Like what RB's doing right now is the big thing. That's like word out is keeping my son alive. It's allowing us to get ready to make the film the way it's supposed to be. We have the copyright that precedes the 1999 installment, first one, 1998. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of, my Christian friends here in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. We're trying to launch a film industry that's detached from Hollywood and from the occultism and all the horrible garbage that goes on. So
the big fear they have is a documentary being made. That's what they're concerned about. This actually being aired and shown. So Love to talk.
Well,
about
that's
I mean,
fantastic.
I think
I'm
that
actually working on a documentary about General Flynn, and I'm sure you know what he's gone through. So
I was just telling him about what you were doing. What I was going to suggest is that, in the lead up to actually, winning your case, producing this story as a documentary first would be an excellent way to inform the public about this.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant.
And you could,
right.
and it would, it would be very compelling, showing the process of going through the court proceedings and
You're
discovery.
absolutely right, RP. You're absolutely right. Because I was told that by the guy who claimed to be one of the fathers of virtual reality. After our case was thrown, I was called over for tea, which I love tea, by a virtual reality father, and also this wonderful Met opera star, Richard Cray. And so they had us over, and he's saying, like, you're getting creamed in the public. Warner Brothers is just killing you in their publications, and you've got to get a documentary or something out there that shows your facts to the public, and then go to court. Like you just said, RP, that's exactly what I said the strategy would be.
Well, if there's anything I can do to help, Red Pill can get you my information. I'd love to help a brother,
Love to have you involved. It'd be great. Even if a short was made, a short would be great. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Bless you guys. Take care. All right, you too. Bye.
Oh, wonderful. Nice. It's coming. Yeah, it's coming. Yeah. Do you know what tomorrow is? The anniversary of the assassination of Caesar. They love to pick the holidays and things too. So who knows what's going on? They want to be clever. Yeah. Go ahead.
My microphone got turned off somehow. Sorry, guys. You're still on. You're still on. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I don't know why that happened, but next on the phone is my good friend and fellow researcher, Methods. Methods, what's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
We host a show together on Sundays.
Oh, that's awesome. I love the logo, by the way.
Right, I appreciate it, man. I just wanted to call in. I was listening while I was doing other things throughout the house, and everything about what I was listening to was awesome. I thought it was very well displayed. You had everything together. I thought it was perfect. And Thomas, we support you.
Thank you.
We want to make sure that this kind of information, when these things happen, when people get treated the wrong way, and justice isn't done right, Red Pill and I definitely, and everybody listening, wants to make sure this stuff gets covered. Mm-hmm. So anything I could do personally in my Twitter world and whatever we could do, we're here for you, man. I love how you presented things. I believe you. And whatever you need, man, just say the word, tell Red Pill, and we'll do it.
You just said it. I was telling people earlier, another time here, that the greatest thing, it's almost like Solomon's baby, where the baby's brought forward and the two writers, two parents claim it and the one lets the other one have it, so it's not killed. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is, the greatest thing you hear as a writer that's actually wronged and had his family lost and things like this is, I believe you. And when you say that to a writer, you see a reaction. There's an emotional reaction. To ones that are not the ones that are actually the actual writers, there's no reaction. They just go on and talk about themselves. But for a writer that actually is taken from and gone through the gristmill, you'll see an emotional response from us. So that's a cap phrase right there to use.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been just listening. I just saw your face for the first time signing in. And I've just been listening for the last hour, and you can hear the compassion, the conviction in your voice. Mm-hmm. And that's what we look for as journalists, whatever you want to call us.
Right.
Listen for those things.
Well, you just hit it too. You just hit something so crucial. I love this conversation. I mean, not that I loved them all, but yeah, this is amazing, because the whole purpose or code in the Matrix Immortal story was to be like a beacon, gather people, leave a lot of the backstory out, have people have to fill it in themselves, feel like they're personally immersed in the story by filling in their own personal story to make it complete, turn to their neighbors, ask them what it's about, but gather people who have compassion, critical thinkers, cross disciplines to come together and make differences in our world. That's mainly why the piece was written. And so you just get right on that.
I appreciate that. I'm just saying, I wish we could have seen what you wanted to do with it.
Well, the plan. That's the plan, because right here it is. It's in the can. It's ready to go. And if we actually make it, we win. We defeat Hollywood. And that's why this race to make Matrix 4 right now. Because if we make this now, as written, people, one similarity, it's over. There's 190, and then Hollywood loses. They either put an injunction and then they reveal that they lost anyway that way by saying there's a similarity, or it's made and people come with a checklist and see Jack's the neck, everything preceding the Matrix. It's over too. So game over is making the piece, cartoon style, whatever.
Well, then whatever you need when this comes out, when you accomplish what you're trying to accomplish here, I can speak for Red Pill. I can speak for everybody here listening in this beautiful movement that we've created. We will make sure this is heard, known about. It'll create noise, and it will be exactly what you need to happen.
I so appreciate that, because I want to make the film. I don't want to dime off it. I want to, when it's made, I want to give the ownership of the copyright to every man, woman, and child. Like I said, we're going to beat the Hollywood system. They can't stand that. And so everybody's going to own it. And that's going to encourage everybody to make their own takes on it. Feel free to create your own work from it, as it was intended to be embraced by every individual to create their story, to launch a whole creative spark throughout our world. And so that's what I'm hoping to do. So I'm hoping that funding does come in specifically for the project to make the film, to release us from the Hollywood and government grip.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I won't take too much time. I will say this: we are with you.
Thank
Everybody
you.
who's listening knows what we mean by that. So, Red Pill, a great show tonight, man. I've been enjoying every part of it.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you calling in, man.
All right. Y'all have a good night.
We'll talk to
Thank
you
you.
soon.
Appreciate it.
All right. Let's see here. I just need to say again, Crash6871 said CV-19 is a hoax. The United States will go into quarantine on April Fool's Day 2020, followed by 10 Days of Darkness, where you'll be watching a movie. 4/10/20, which is the birth date of our president, will be Dark to Light Day, and 4/11 is the day of the first arrest. Yes, I've often thought that was exactly what was going to happen. Oh, looks like SGT Report. My friend at SGT Report would probably be another great place. Don't worry. I've got a list of 10 or 15.
It'll keep the ball rolling.
Yes.
Wave rolling, as you said. Someone had asked about Robertson's involvement too. I hope they ask their question again, because really that fits with this whole thing we're talking about. He was involved in these plans.
Yes.
In fact, he met with Bush before he went to war. It's like he meets with presidents and everything. He really is a dark hand in our society and in our nation.
I do believe it. I do believe it. People keep asking about Tom Hanks. I don't know anything about Tom Hanks. I only know that he was supposedly diagnosed as positive with CV-19, he and his wife. Haven't heard anything about them passing away. I would highly doubt that they did, but if it's being reported that they did, I think that is a head fake. I don't believe that that's actually what happened. I think they're probably using that as cover to remove him from the situation. Marie Stern says, great show, blessings, where we go one, we go all. Thank you, Marie. And J9 asks, when is the court case? You haven't filed yet, but when are you planning?
No. Well, what we understand is fraud has no statute of limitations. And so since there was so much fraud, it was steeped with fraud. I mean, you got the supplied wife, supplied attorney, no depositions, no discovery, no ADRs, unlicensed guy representing me who's classmates with Warner Brothers, refusal to give any disclosures whatsoever, and then saying on tape that it's a moot point to ask for discovery because they don't have any working drafts. It's like, once we go to court, they're dead. But the thing is that first, like you said, we actually need to make the film. If we make the film, then they're caught. What are they going to do?
Right.
They're caught. That's 22.
All right, great. Let's go to the next caller. We've got Red Pill Doc coming up. My friend, the Red Pill Doctor. Good stuff. We need to wait for him to get his microphone on. Now,
it's so funny seeing green scrolling blips, because that's right in the Immortal story.
I know. That's we use that a lot.
I say that, green scrolling blips. Yeah.
Mark 2227114 for the win. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. He says thumbs up. Glad you're here, buddy. Still waiting on Red Pill Doc to get his microphone working. So let's just take a look at see what people are saying in the chat. Lots of talk about Tom Hanks. I haven't heard anything about that, so we're gonna go ahead and check that. Somebody says, I'm surprised about Pat Robertson. So he isn't really a Christian. I would say that Pat Robertson's probably a Christian in the same way that George H.W. Bush was a Christian. So I mean,
how he got started, right?
No, how did he get started?
Well, Pat Robertson wanted to be a socialite with his wife Dee Dee in Manhattan, right? And then this a preacher came along with a really nice car, took him out to a really nice meal with really nice clothes. And Pat Robertson is quoted as saying in a recent article from Toronto Star, you mean you can have all that by doing this? And so he then switched to televangelism. It was all vehicle. And he even says in Pat Robertson's perspective, his newsletter, that the evangelicals, his main power base, are one of the dumbest demographics on the planet. So he's just using them.
You know, it's sad, and it's difficult for people to stomach, because you look at someone who's supposed to be a man of God, and then you learn that, you know, there is actually incredible corruption behind it. But here's the thing, and I've often said this, is that corruption knows no boundaries, okay? It's government, it's religion, it is banking, it's business, it's industry. Every single power structure in the United States or in the world has people who are very corrupt at the top of the heap. Now, also, Son of a Green Card says, this sounds like an epic piece that could be animated by the amazing meme creators and graphic design minds behind the Where We Go One, We Go All movement. Just an idea. Well, obviously, you know, after this interview, hopefully we're going to put Thomas in touch with a whole bunch of people. Red Pill Doc, are you there, my friend?
Are you able to hear me?
I can, yes. How are you, buddy?
Excellent, guys. How you doing tonight?
Excellent. Great. Good. What's your question? You still there?
Yeah, I'm just listening.
Oh, you know, I was just saying, what's your question for Thomas?
Yeah, so Tom, I'm not sure how to put this into words, but you know, what you're trying to accomplish is so revolutionary. I mean, I can understand why there's such a fight at every level. I feel like that, you know, what these ideas stimulate, and in terms of like activating, you know, new consciousness within people is just, you know, it's so revolutionary. It's cutting edge, and I just feel like that, you know, you're just doing such a great thing. I just want to reach out and just you know, just let that be known, because it is, you know, what you're doing is just basically creating, you know, you're reinvigorating the mythic mind of people that has been lost for, you know, just generations now. And I think that's just such a threat. So just be aware of that. That is just,
I appreciate that.
You're doing an amazing thing. And I just, you know, the ideas in your movie have sparked understanding in me that it just cannot be explained. And I just want to go down on the record as saying that. And I've got a lot of ideas, but this is not the time to discuss it. I just want to thank you for what you accomplished, my friend.
Thank you. You hit something too, like what is one of the core purposes of the piece was to, and these are people calling me now that are in the business telling me that what you did, Tom, was create a world where you'd fit, you know, where people like you would fit. And I even have in the piece remnant. And so people like yourselves that have compassion, intelligence, critical thinkers, artistic, you know, a world where we would be able to be the other end of the pyramid and make a difference, where we can create a benevolent world and where all life matters. And that is something that Hollywood scoffs at. That is not Warner Brothers' mission. Warner Brothers' mission is to teach us that we're all dark, and we all have a dark side, and we all have that. That's criminals trying to get away with what they're doing and cover it. No, what we are largely is a world of people who are driven by compassion, realizing we need each other, and all life has value. And I believe that. I believe that audiences are intelligent at the base level. We really are, if we choose to be critical thinking. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you make an excellent point here, Red Pill Doc. I mean, you're going up against what is essentially, you know, the machine, okay? The Hollywood machine. They have so much money. They have so many people. Just imagine all of the corruption that is able to just, you know, go by undetected. How many years was Harvey Weinstein operating as, you know, top-level predator in Hollywood? How many people did he victimize, and how many people knew about it because they wanted to stay rich and famous, or they even wanted a taste of that life? Now, you know, so what is it? What is it for these people to destroy the life of one man just so they can get his ideas? It's nothing to them.
That's right. And they really believe every one of us will sell out for the price.
Yeah, they think we'll follow the stars. Yeah.
Like, I didn't even tell you the offer they made me after Becca was taken. They had a replacement woman for me. They don't make settlements. No, they don't make settlements. They make arrangements. That's why their hands don't look dirty, right?
Yes.
They make arrangements. That's part of that playbook too. So this woman named Stephanie Tanner contacts me after Becca dumps me, a friend of hers, who says that she was conditioned with her sister at Berkeley under their program, you know, conditioning program, and said that she was coming earlier than she was supposed to, that her brother-in-law is lead attorney for Warner Brothers in charge of the intellectual property ripoff, that she wanted to be with me, have me live with her, and that I would raise alpacas on a farm. That would be the arrangement, where I'd be able to not claim my work, but be with her. And who was her husband?
Oh my God.
Her husband that disappeared just before was the writer of Napoleon Dynamite. So what they do is they take these women that are conditioned and put them one after another, and then they bring us in as arrangements. It's like Logan's Run.
Wow. That is just mind blown.
That's the world they play with, and they try to put us in our own stories. Wow. So I would have been having Thanksgiving dinner with a man that orchestrated the part of the ripoff with Mike Lang.
That's incredible.
Well, you're promoting the ideas that we hear about in the Project Looking Glass disclosures. I mean, this is where it's at, my friend, and you're making the difference.
Well, I see by giving our copyright over to all people, Hollywood doesn't know what to do with that. They don't know what to do that. And I'm hoping everybody comes up with their ideas, and that a lot of young people and all kinds of people create their own take on the Matrix story. I do hope they do that.
All right.
I look forward to
incredible.
Well, thank you for your call, Red Pill Doc. I appreciate
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you.
All right, brother. We'll see you. All right. I've got a couple more super chats to go over here real quick, Thomas. Let's see. Mel C said, Bill Maher goes dark after tonight's show. After tonight's show is over for CV19. Let's go ahead and we'll watch that, see if that comes to pass. Karma Anon says, great interview, RP. God bless Thomas. He needs to be heard. Absolutely. We're going to keep that going. Kim says, Thomas, when you're ready, start a Patreon or another page for your documentary and let us know. We will all support and help fund your movie. That's an excellent idea.
Great point. I'm asking for people to help me with that. I'm a writer, and I focus my whole world about writing, and so I'm not savvy at creating these things. If someone can help create it and actually have like integrity oversight on it, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Sure the funds go where
I think that's something that could definitely be done, you guys. So if you guys want to help out, you feel free to reach out to me. I'll put you in touch with Thomas. Or if you want to give your email out, Thomas, you're welcome to do that.
You can put my phone number and everything out. I'm trying to be transparent. It doesn't matter. They're all over me anyway, so why not?
Okay. All right. Let's give it to him. What is your email address? Everybody get a pen ready.
Okay. Email address is the same as the website. Website's redpillrising1word.org, which we've been looking at.
Yeah.
So the email address is redpillrising with my initials, TPA. So T as in Tom, P as in Paul, A as in Althouse.
Althouse. So Red Pill Rising, Red Pill Rising TPA
at gmail.com.
At gmail.com. Okay. Right. I'll put that into the chat.
If I put my phone number out.
Yeah, go ahead and give me your phone number.
With this because we have to all be together, all equal. So 267 893 0847.
All right, you guys.
I'll do my best to talk to anybody. And
Thomas, don't be surprised that if you get a bunch of
I'll do my best.
Emails and calls after this. I'm sure because a lot of people will probably reach out. Okay, now, and I should just say, your phone number is already public, so it's not like we're doxing. I mean,
I want it to be.
You want it to be. Okay, because some people were concerned in the chat.
We have to have transparency. It's the only way. We have to face the dragons.
Yeah. All right, so Eric's Cross says, the virus has opened the door to share qmap.pub. Do it. All right, we'll take a look at it. Lindsay Lass says, RP, ask Thomas about Keanu Reeves, Dark or Light. Do you have any knowledge about Keanu Reeves as a person?
That's a tough one. It's so sad because you got to understand that Keanu Reeves was in the suits at Hollywood and Warner Brothers insisted that he be Neo.
Yeah.
It wasn't even what Wachowskis wanted to play Neo, even though they're ripping off my work. So they were doing it to save his career. So Keanu Reeves, I'm sorry to say, is not a good player in this. Is not a good man in this. And I wish he was. I'm leaving the door open for him. If he wants to do the right thing, he can. But the whole creation of his life and the saddest man in Hollywood, he's not the saddest man in Hollywood. No, he's not.
Do you think that that Keanu Reeves had knowledge of the fact?
Absolutely, yes. I've been told he does. He had complete knowledge.
Okay.
In fact, that's why he was going to support the Wachowskis in the four ripoff. Yeah. Because he said they have to do it or else he won't. He's doing exactly what Warner Brothers told him to do to help rip off 4.
Right. Okay, that's very sad. Denise says, was there a Neo in your movie? And if so, would you have wanted Keanu to play him? He had a different name in your movie.
No, I didn't want Keanu Reeves. I didn't think Keanu Reeves could act. Honestly, I'm not trying to be mean.
I feel you. I know.
I didn't see the chops.
Yeah.
In fact, I heard George Carlin in an interview with George Carlin where he said that Keanu Reeves would just clown around on set, then get up and do his take. Yeah. That's not a good actor. That's not somebody preparing for the shot or doing service to all those that are there to make that film and give them their time to make that film. So he was known as a clown.
Okay.
So that's not somebody I would want behind the camera.
Well, I think arguably, starring in The Matrix, that kind of revitalized his career. So
that's the whole reason they gave it to him.
Yeah.
In fact, if you look at what's interesting is when I pitched it to Bonaventura, right? He said somebody he wanted to, and when it was in New York, he said he had somebody in mind for the Neo character.
Okay.
And that was what's his name? The Italian actor. Oh goodness.
Giovanni Ribisi?
No, it's older character. Robert De Niro. He wanted Robert De Niro to play Neo, and I didn't think that was a match.
No, I don't think so either. Robert De Niro is
architect. I told him I wanted the architect to be played by Dustin Hoffman, and then Hollywood had Dustin Hoffman mock me in all these films.
Really?
So
and,
and Beat the Fockers and everything.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
so,
he's mocking me.
Oh my gosh. So so you had a character called the Architect in your script as well.
Yes, but I gave him an historical identification, which Sophia Stewart's being used to mock. But it's the only character in history that would fit the architect in the Matrix film.
Okay.
And so they've mocked me mercilessly for picking this character, but he's the only one that wanted 1,000-year Reich and everything in a program where he would be brought back to be immortally. So and I used that name. And so they got rid of it and just called him the architect.
Okay. All right. Guys, we are at 10:33 right now. We got about a half hour left. We're going to keep going through calls. Got a couple of super chats. I'm going to ask if you have not yet taken the time to share this video on your favorite social media platform or like it, please consider doing one or the other. We've got 1.9 thousand likes and 4,597 people watching right now. Taraxicum Aficional, thank you for the super chat. Abel says, do you think with all the new judges appointed, you'd have a better chance to win your court case now? Would you have to file this in California, or would you be able to?
Don't go near California.
No.
There hasn't been a copyright suit basically 1 in 12 years, I was told, because they supply their own judges. I mean, these judges in the 30-mile zone are going to all these, Tonys and awards and, Academy Awards. They got red carpet seats and everything. So you're not going to count on them to make a decision that's fair. And if you get a judge that's fair, they're going to replace them. Part of the go-to strategy, which happened to Avatar too, was the Canton attorney just called me recently talking to me about our story. And he said that what they did for them too was they brought in another judge to finish it who had connections, they found.
Oh,
so that's part of the playbook, right?
Yeah.
So,
I would expect that, Yeah,
so you're not going to win in California. It's just not going to happen unless you're a known name where you're part of their family. Then they'll let it show as a ticket sale.
Yep. Okay.
Did it.
All right, Mike Q said, wait for it. I'm sure you're talking about the arrests that are upcoming. Thank you, Mike. Social Observer says, do you know, Thomas, about the dark side of the music industry? Any connections to the music industry?
Yes, well, I want to show you something right now. It's a great question.
Okay.
Great point, too. I'm going to show you one of our dear friends sacrificed his life. And the reason is because right now the attorneys from Warner Brothers are still taking us on, right? They're very afraid of us coming forward now. And the Warner Brothers attorneys have actually gone over to Netflix. So Netflix is the machine that's being used right now, which is partners with Mike Lang and Harvey Weinstein and Disney to rip off films. It's the laundering machine right now. It's Netflix, sorry to say. So the attorneys for Warner Brothers have gone over there because they're expecting us to go there about Altered Carbon. But if you look at this last page of the copyrighted script, you're going to see end credits, right?
Praying for Time by George Michael.
Right. That's why George Michael was killed.
Did you know George Michael?
Yeah, because of what we did was, see, George Michael is proof that this script was finished in 93.
Okay.
Because before we pitched it to Bonaventura, we secured his permission, George Michael's permission, to use his song for the end credits.
Fascinating.
So he's a complete witness that we were completed in 93. Warner Brothers doesn't want that, so they offed him and said his heart gave out.
That is
code for Hollywood for they was murdered.
Wow, that's fascinating.
And if you look at the lyrics for Praying for Time, it's perfect. It's better than Rage of the Machine. Praying for Time talks about what was going on there was going over here. God can't come back. He has no children to come back for. The wounded skies above. It is absolutely the perfect song for the Immortals Matrix story.
Wow. Okay.
And I hope we get to use it anyway.
Now, Mike Q says, watch what happens next. The best is yet to come. Where we go one, we go all worldwide. Love and light. Thank you for that, Mike. Appreciate that, buddy. All right, we're going to take the next caller now. This is our friend Mark, Alexandria Occasional Cortex. Mark is actually a Senate candidate in Arizona, so we appreciate him calling in. Mark, it looks like you got to get your microphone on there, buddy.
Hello.
Okay,
yeah, I got it on now.
Awesome. What's your question for Thomas, buddy?
Well, I want to say God bless you and good luck with this.
Thank you.
And attorneys are a good choice. You just answered the question I was gonna ask you about jurisdiction. And I actually got the option to Bruce Lee's Lost movie, his first movie.
Oh wow.
Called The Silent Flute. He wrote in '68, and my first film project, I actually strolled into town, got a line producer. I didn't know what a big deal it would be, but anyway, it turned out a big thing, and I went through this process, raised $100 million for this film, and Hollywood came after me. Who is this guy? He's not part of us. But one way to fight the deep state is I created a benefit, actually the first benefit corporation film company, so that I could take this Bruce Lee script, wrap it up into a company that owned the option, that wasn't just for profit, single bottom line, but triple bottom line. So, you know, I know it's too late for that now, but you know, when you're just getting your IP stolen from you, but I feel for you. I went through the ringer myself in Hollywood.
I hear it in your voice. I recognize that voice pattern.
Yeah, and they again just came after me, and
I'm sorry,
took it all. I didn't belong there.
Well, I understand. I understand what you went through, and I feel it. I feel it for you.
Gotta be part of the club.
Yeah.
You're still speaking, so kudos. You're still speaking. It's hard.
Yeah, and it's just amazing to what lengths he'll go to.
It's
like
amazing.
All of a sudden, my attorney that I had for 3 years now is getting offered a job to do all the contracts for Universal.
Which is Joel. Yeah.
No coincidences. No coincidences.
And then they sue me the week after she gets the job.
Right.
Wow.
No,
and boom.
Yeah.
Gone. But there is a lot of ways to take back Hollywood, and that's the point, and that's what I love what you're doing so much.
Thank you.
It's not about just draining the swamp. I mean, that is the swamp.
They want you to suffer so badly that your death would be a relief. That's what they want you to do.
Yes.
But you know what they don't understand? They're all about power, they say. In fact, the contacts I've recorded say it's all about power. You have to understand, Tom. They don't understand anything else. And they're afraid of your power now. I'm like, what power? But apparently we have influence. We have the proof that we can bring it forward now. But the thing is, if you kill a man's sons, he's not going to end up curling up in a fetal ball and dying. He's going to go on and dedicate his life to those sons' memories and finish his work.
Well, I think it's a testament to your spirit, Thomas. I mean, I think that, be quite honest, nobody would blame you if you crawled up into a fetal position and just gave up.
Never.
You know, but the fact that you're able to continue going and you're not going to stop until this has reached its inevitable conclusion. You know, I mean, obviously you've got a very, very strong will and a strong spirit.
Well, if they say they're scared and that they've won this stupid game they call, then I'm not stopping. We're gonna win it and dispose of the board.
All right, awesome. Well, AOC, thanks for your call. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, and God bless y'all.
God bless you as well, brother.
You
We'll see you. Okay, awesome. Thank you for that. Now, Red Pill Doc says, if President Trump cares about Hollywood at all, he needs to support Tom. As Gates and Soros fall, he is in the future for the awakening process. Yes, I completely agree with that. And again, this is why we need to publicize this story as much as possible. Brittany Taylor, thank you for the super chat. Turtle Girl says, when Obama is stripped of his presidency, will that make the secret pardons he did right before leaving office null and void? Yes, it would, because any actions that were put into effect by Obama, if he is impeached and he is removed as president for treason, then anything that he did during his 2 years in office, his 2 terms in office, and the 8 years in office, it would be voided. Okay, coming up next is our caller ending in, I don't know the numbers of the caller, 0234. Caller, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I'm going to need you to mute your stream in the background so we don't get the feedback.
I got it done.
Excellent. Can we get your name for the audience and then tell us your question for Thomas?
My name is Cindy, and I'm from Alabama. And I just want to say, I know you have faith because you have made a long road. And I pray for you, and I pray for your sons. I know they're in good hands. And just know that anybody out there believes in you, and you just keep God in your life.
You got it.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, because that's what they stripped out
of
him too. Yeah.
And do tell him that it not only happens in the movies, it happens in Nashville too, in the music.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've definitely...
You're saying about the music industry. Yes, it's vicious.
I've heard it many times.
Yeah.
Vicious.
Yeah, it happened to me.
Oh, I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Well, I mean, you know, poop happens. I was only 16, and I mean, you know, it just happens, and it's sad. But I didn't know what I was doing. I had gotten the song of the month. I got I still have the certificate, and I'm 71 now, so you know it's old. But anyway, it's a song that I wrote in '65. It wasn't released until '69, and the lady made $1 million off of it or more.
I don't doubt it.
And I'm not gonna. She's passed away now, so I'm just not going to get into it. But it does happen.
We can have a world where it doesn't happen too, and that's why coming together like this and bringing truth forward and working together to do it. One of the reasons I wrote the piece. We can have a world where it doesn't happen anymore, and our kids can help.
That's right. That's right. And I know you've got good faith, and I'm going to pray for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Cindy. Thanks for your call. I really appreciate it.
Sure, anytime. And love you, Red Pill.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
Yeah. All right, so I just actually got word from Tiffany Fitzhenry. She's going to be tuning in. Tiffany, if you're watching now, good to hear that. Glad that you're able to check out this program. Once again, for the audience, Thomas Althouse is the guest. He wrote a script called The Immortals sometime back in the early 90s. It was stolen and repurposed by Warner Brothers, turned into The Matrix. And some other films as well. Turtle Girl says, Candy De Leon says, is there any way you can do another show with Thomas to expose Pat Robertson? Tom, are you open to doing a full show?
Let's do it.
Okay.
The more we do interviews, the better.
All right, we'll definitely schedule that, guys. And then Turtle Girl, thank you very much for that super chat. Okay, all right, going on to the next caller, 9598. Caller, go ahead and mute your stream, and I'm going to unmute you. Mute your stream. Mute your stream. Oh, this happens. All right.
Whoa, I'm unmuted.
Caller, I hope you can hear me. I would imagine you can because you've got the phone out. We need you to mute your stream so that we don't get the feedback. Caller.
I will do that. Okay.
Okay, we're going to move on to the next caller, and hopefully that caller will get their situation. Caller, are you there? Caller. Caller, are you there? Ending 9598?
Yes, and I have unmuted.
Okay, great. Can we get your name for the audience?
Stephanie Osteen.
Stephanie? Okay, and Stephanie, what's your question for Thomas?
Well, Thomas, the only thing I wanted to say is, two things. God bless you. Oh, my God, this is a horror story. This whole program, everything that you said that's happened to you, I totally feel for you. I am a writer. I work with exotics. And I'm autistic, and I've always worked with animals for, oh my goodness, 45 years, over 45 years. And I have a lot of information. And so I used to write articles. People, for some of these trade magazines, Barron's Educational Series, they contacted me firsthand, and they said, oh, would you like to review this article and give us any critiquing? And so I did, and interesting enough, the article in its own, I got back with them and I said, well, this is great, but it looks like something that I wrote.
Right.
This all looks like my own information. And then I went ahead and I took what they sent me and I traced it back to a few other magazines. And it was my very own writings that they were having me to critique.
Right.
So what you're saying, this is so unrelated, I guess, but it's very similar in a minute sense. If you understand what I'm saying, that's sort of how
It's fraud and plagiarism in both instances.
Well, you raised something too that's interesting. I hadn't really considered before. It's like bullies on a playground. You've got the people that are stealing or elected to steal by the studios, like Dino Laurentiis wined and dined the Wachowskis, right? So it is very similar what you're talking about, because what happens is they're wined and dined, they're failures at everything they did, yet they're the ones that are given to steal the work because they'll be loyal to those rewards, right? But they become aggressive. They have a mentality. It's like all about them, all about their success, what they want to have, the mansion, everything else. Where the actual writers like yourself, we are doing it as a service industry to lift the world, make it a better place. We're trying to serve our audiences, give them a great product, and give them something that moves them and something they may not have seen before. So you've got these gentle people like ourselves that are creating as a service, while you got these aggressive people that are trying to take from us. So you got two different types of people, types of personalities, and it's time for the gentle ones to get together and say enough and create a gentler planet by claiming back their work.
Yeah, it's I tell you what, everything I heard from you, it was like I felt like if I had gone I went a different route, and I still got I got to watch my language, because we have younger people that listen to this radio. I didn't know it. The next day I found out a 14-year-old, and I had called in the night before, and my husband gave me a bottle of Tito's as a Valentine's gift, and said, "Here, honey, try this. It's really great." And I got like totally stupid. And then I got on this phone and called you guys. Oh my God, it was the worst night of my life. And then I was so stupid, and I kept telling people, "Hey, listen to this program. I'm on at so many minutes." I deleted that.
Are you the one who called in with the animal trapped in your house?
Yes. Well, and the next guy is like, "Oh, God bless Stephanie." I was like, they will never talk to me again. They'll think I'm totally irrational. They'll think I'm a loony, like I'm going to do a Q dance or something and try.
Thank God.
Don't go there.
Thank God you didn't do that, Stephanie. I understand. Well, listen, hon, I appreciate your call. We've got 7 more people that are still on the line. We got 10.
I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
We'll see ya.
Thank you for taking my call.
Anytime. We'll talk to you soon.
You got the gist of what I was saying.
You did great.
I know what he went through. I could have gone through. I could have had the same experience. Instead, I got they took me another route. So that's another story. Hopefully he'll get another guest out here that will, that I can chime in and I can say, "No, they didn't get me there, but they got me there." Anyway,
right. Thank you,
God
Steph.
bless you. And if I can help him any way I can, let me listen a little further, and maybe I can.
All
bye,
right.
guys.
Yep, we'll see ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Stephanie. Okay, the other caller, ending in phone number 1137, I'm talking to you. Make sure that your phone is not getting a bunch of noise, or that you've got the YouTube muted in the background so we can bring you in. There was a lot of noise before. Caller, are you there?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
I can, but we've got a lot of other noise going on. Are you on the road?
No, I'm here. I'm in the Bay Area.
Okay.
I'm going to turn this Yeah, my name is Daniel Palmquist. At first, I want to start with saying that Jesus is alive. And, I never thought that I was anyone. And your story is incredible, Thomas. I believe it. And I had a dream about this a long time ago, seeing that Satan has full control over Hollywood. And I was a street preacher in Las Vegas, Nevada for 7 years, out in front of the Bellagio. My ancestors are the Los Pabladores de Los Angeles, 1781. And I just wanted to encourage you to continue on with what you're doing, because, the love of money is the root of all evil, and the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And these people have seen their day. They're going down. Trump is cleaning house. It's happening. So, it's, I just want to, to say I'm absolutely impressed at what you're doing. I'm taken back by this. The Spirit recognizes the Spirit, and you have the Spirit of God living inside of you.
Thank you.
And yes. So I have your information. I have a presence online. I am who I am. I'm going to contact you. This is all happening right now, and it's just amazing. So, what do you know of blockchain, like uploading videos to blockchain?
Any experience?
So that way it can never be deleted.
Yeah, Thomas, there's other services that are online video service, like there's a BitChute, there's a couple other ones, I don't know them off the top of my head, but they use blockchain so that you upload your videos, they can't be deleted, and you've got it there. So, Chris, are you thinking about the like the distribution of his story once he gets it onto like documentary form and into a processed film?
Oh, you asking me the question?
Yeah.
Well, yes, I'm willing to help out in any way I can. I was recently laid off. I've worked in San Francisco as an electrician. I'm just completely open about everything. So,
all right.
I have this time right now where I'm just hunkered down. Trying to stand back from being exposed to anything that's just want to stay clear and let the Patriots clean house while I'm just here protecting my family.
All right.
I would like to help out in any way I can. I've fully devoted myself. I've been beaten and thrown in jail before in the name of Christ. I'm ready to fully give myself. So yeah, I'm here with you. I have your back, Thomas.
That's wonderful. And what's going on right now is they're starting to take each other out now. See the strategy that had all this for us as writers, to rip us off, and like Mike Lang especially, and Michael Eisner, who's trying to escape with his legacy intact now. They had all these plans, they failed. Mike Lang put the trail back on the Hollywood cartel. Now you're seeing Epstein, Bob Iger, all these ones go down now. They're taking their own out now.
Yeah.
Because they think their story's worth too much.
All right. Well, caller, thank you for your call. I really appreciate it. And Thomas, will look for your communication through email or phone.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
All right. Thank you for your call.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. All right. We've only got a couple minutes left, and I want to make sure I get to the last of these callers. We've got 3 people left, guys. So let's go on to caller number 0398. Looks like your microphone is on. Can we get your name?
Hi, it's Kay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you just fine, Kay. Thank you for your call. And what's your question for Thomas?
Thomas, I am in Hollywood, and I've heard lots of horror stories about how stories are stolen left, right, and center. And so I decided to self-publish mine on all the ebook sites. Do you think that was a good idea, bad idea, or doesn't matter? I should get it to the copyright office.
Yeah, keep in control. It's okay to copyright it, but then again, they have their tabs on the copyright offices. They have insiders.
That's why I didn't submit it. Well, actually, also other reasons, but
you can create it yourself and produce it in some kind of format that can be shown visually, and that's your first step out the door. Then you got yourself well covered.
But in terms of like self-publishing a script online, which I did quite a while ago now, over 5 years ago, personally, was that an okay idea?
I think so too. I think so. Because what you're doing is you're establishing the date when you created it, and that's the most important
thing, And of course, I have all the electronic copies, from 10 years back when I started it.
Put it on external drive too. Somehow, proof of time stamping on external drive will be an important step.
Yeah.
And keep that in Word. That's it. Yeah.
And while I was listening to you guys, unfortunately, I don't know why, but I wasn't able to listen to this call while on hold. I don't know if that's typical Red Pill.
Yeah, it's that's why everybody always has the streams going while they're on hold, because you don't become part of the call until I admit you, and unfortunately, that's
FYI, not the case with Thomas yesterday.
Yeah,
so you might want to ask his producer about that.
Yeah.
But thank you for all you do, because I've been a long time listener and a huge fan of all of you guys. Thank you.
I sure appreciate
everybody. Yeah, I love this hat that someone made in Asia that Thomas showed yesterday, where it listed, all the great YouTubers.
Yeah. I showed that yesterday during I streamed the president's address at 3:30, and I showed it then.
Listen, thanks to you.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that
good.
was you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm mixing you guys up now.
No, yeah, that was me. I thought maybe Thomas showed it too. You know, I've shown stuff of his
maybe.
in here before.
Sorry.
No problem.
But, and I love it every time Louise meows. I'm like, get her on your shoulder, man.
She's outside the door right now.
Shoulder.
She was sleeping in the bedroom when I went on the air, so unfortunately she's been locked out the whole time.
Oh, but Thomas, thank you for your bravery and thank you for your mastery with storytelling. And while I was listening, I had an idea for a drama version of your story, because you were comparing WB or the bad guys to the machine, and it reminded me of your story, you know, of Neo and the Red Pillars fighting the machine. You know, maybe there's something to play around.
They monkey with us, where they put us in our own real story, in our own horror story, basically. That's what they do.
It's almost ironic, you know, that your story, like your real life story, is very similar to the story.
It's intended. They intend that. So they feel that the big currency in Hollywood, as you will find out, is being clever. Mm-hmm. That's what they think. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're a man, especially, and you're clever in Hollywood, that's your real currency. So that's what I always do. And that's why the inserted material that, you know, RP put up about the first insert in the Night Matrix. Yeah.
Well, Kay, thank you so much for your call. I appreciate it.
You.
Just 2 more people left, and then we're done for the night. So thank you for your call.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
Talk to you soon. Yep. Bye-bye. Thanks, everybody. Good calls tonight. Okay, we've got 3 more calls. Please, nobody else call in. This is caller with the phone number ending 2423. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Make sure you mute the YouTube stream in the background.
Okay.
Okay. And can we get your name for the audience?
My name's Sophia.
Okay, excellent. Now, we're just at the end of the broadcast, so if you could, real quick, what's your question for Thomas?
Oh, okay. I just want to thank him for creating such an awesome story. And, I mean, it's played such a critical role in waking people up. We even get our shorthand terminology from them, our jargon from this movie. It's just amazing that he created and wrote this story. And, this is really a time of revelation of, it is the great revealing, and your movie, your story actually helped to create this. But I was wondering, how did you pick red pill, blue pill? Why? I'm just curious why it wasn't other colors.
Well, see, it wasn't that. It was more the writer just flowing with thought. And when I came up with red pill, blue pill, I actually thought it was a dumb idea. But I thought, it'll be a vehicle to make sense of why these people are in a program, why they have immortality, and it is a vehicle to make clear that they are making a choice to enter it, or being forced to make a choice to enter it. So it really just was a genesis of a necessity. But so I wasn't thinking at the time, oh boy, red pill, blue pill is going to be so monumental. I thought people might just pass it off as kind of a ridiculous sidekick idea. But yeah, I'm amazed.
Well,
actually.
Flashes of genius.
Absolutely amazing. Oh, well, thank you. I just want to thank you for being so brave and coming out and tell your story to everyone. And I wish you the most best of luck in all your future endeavors.
Attend the celebration once we get the film made and everybody owns it, and we'll all celebrate together. So yay.
All right, keep following along. Thank you for your call. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yep, we'll see you. Bye-bye. Okay, we've got 2 more callers. Let's go ahead and bring... 3 more callers. Caller number 9338. Can you hear me, and what's your name?
I can. This is David. I'm calling from Winter Park, Colorado.
David, good to hear from you again, friend. What's your question for Thomas?
Hey, thanks, Red. Hey, Thomas. I have been curious about this for quite a long time. I had been working for one of the major studios back in the year 2000 as a researcher. Those skills have been useful these days, of course. But I was kind of moving up really quickly in the system and sort of getting a lot of positive reinforcement for quickly ascending, so to speak, in the industry. And I had been invited to a meeting with 5 gentlemen all wearing black, and by the line producer. And that day, I had just coincidentally been wearing a pair of stylish black pants and a stylish black shirt. And they said, we want to invite you up to San Francisco for a location shoot. And you've been up there and you know that area. So we thought we'd take you up there. We'd buy your airfare, pay for your luxury hotel and all the expenses. We just want to take you up there and have you help us. And I got a whiff in the air, sort of like, this doesn't smell right. And so that next morning, I packed everything I owned in my car and I drove halfway back to halfway across the country back to Detroit, where my hometown is. So my question for you is, would you have an idea of what may have happened if I went on that trip?
With the details you just gave, oh my, I would expect at the very least they'd be asking you to join something unethical and be part of something that would be quite shady because of the packaging, you know, the window dressing. So if they're going to go that far, like when Robertson wanted me to be the face of Christian Coalition, they'd be feeling you out to see how you answered questions, to see if you would be loyal, pliable, and willing to break ethics. Usually, is what they do.
David, the first thing I think is that they would probably have been looking to see what you would be willing to do to further your career in Hollywood and all of the nefarious ends that come along with that. Listen, David, I appreciate your call, buddy. We've got just 2 more and we got to end the show. Okay, my friend?
Appreciate you guys. God bless you.
Yep,
all right. Thank you.
Bless. Yep. Bye-bye. Okay, great. And we've got caller number 9312. Caller, please make sure that you mute your YouTube stream in the background so we don't get the feedback. Thank you to everybody who's stayed with us throughout the show. We've got just over 4,300 people watching. Caller, can we get your name?
We've got caller number 9312.
Caller, on the phone, mute the stream in the background.
Okay, we're turning it down.
Thank you. Can we get your name for the audience?
Oh, hi, it's Indexia. I'm calling you all the way from the Twitter sphere.
Okay.
Thank you, Thomas, for everything that you're doing, bring things to light so that we can actually take a really good look at what's happening. We've suspected it for a very long time. I've got a niece in the industry. She's an author. She was an actress. Things were always kind of honky in the industry, you know. And now she's come back home. She's got book 2 out. She's doing her thing. She's self-published. What can we do to actually protect her at this point while we get to this mountain of crud?
Right, I would say
nice because the show is family friendly. Just being Red Pill, I watch it all the time.
Thank you.
Yeah, the main thing is I would say don't discuss your ideas outside of your inner circle. Make sure that it's contained. If you have a great idea you're working on, let it gel within confined spaces. And also, like I said, create it. Find a way to create it before it's even the idea is released or passed around. So this idea of pitch sessions is pretty much out the door. Hollywood's policy now is that they figure everything's been done under the sun. And therefore, if you pitch something, they'll be able to legitimize that they got it from a janitor somewhere. So you're not going to be able to actually achieve anything through pitch sessions. What you do is you make it on your own. If you get a private team to do it, and then you release it, and there's no argument. It's yours.
And part 2 of that question is the private team would be people close to her?
Yes, people that she absolutely trusts. But the problem is, like, look at my family. If they want to get to you, if you've created work that's worth a lot of money, they're going to approach family members they think will sell out. And I'm surprised that my sister that was so close and then sold out completely, and now she's a monster to me. So it's like they will find your weak links or try to buy them off.
Right.
Keep your circle tight.
That's awful.
We will. We'll try to keep our circle tight. And I'm going to be following you, and we've got that.
All right. Thank you so much for your call. I appreciate it.
And actually, you've touched into a beautiful movement, and you're on your way, and we will help you.
I'm so excited. I want my son to see it too. And my other 2 sons that died, I know they're with us.
They'll be watching from above, I'm sure. All right.
Godspeed.
Godspeed. Thank you for your call. Yep. Bye-bye. All right, you guys, we have almost reached the end of the program. We've got one final caller. And caller, you're now on the air. Can we get your name for the audience?
I'm Judy.
Hey, Judy. How are you?
I am doing really good. And I am so proud of Thomas because I know what he has been going through. I think anyone in our society today who is a believer and is standing for the truth and standing for non-corruption is going to be blasted by the corrupt. And, since I was young, I saw this over and over again. I wrote a $92 million grant that started the Cancer Research and Treatment Center, and the director of that was embezzling from the patients.
Wow.
So that was my first experience as a whistleblower. And with that, my lines were tapped, my children were threatened. So anyone who says that, Thomas, this cannot be real, they just haven't lived it.
No,
so, Thomas, I commend you for hanging in there. God is with you, and you are going to prevail.
Thank you. And you know what's really interesting, what you just raised for me too, is that Hollywood, a lot of these players, including sellouts, like my family sellouts, they all justify it by saying everybody would do this. Anyone would sell out. We all would. It's not true, and we're proving that now. People like yourself,
yes,
like what RP has allowed, is that we're starting to be seen now that that is not the answer. That's not the truth. There are good hearts. There are good people, and we're coming together. And that's part of the whole spine of the story from the Immortals, is to bring together what I call the remnant, people from cross disciplines that are passion, and we're doing it.
Yes, and Thomas, God gave you your talent, and he gave you that talent to be used, and it's coming forth right now, and the good is going to prevail, and this is such an important movement. Corruption is at every level. I just have to commend you, because I know it hasn't been easy, but you are clear-minded, you've got your mind, and that's what God has given you. He has given you clear-mindedness, and he has given you your talent, and you're using it for him. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, and a great circle is forming, and you're part of that. Thank you so much.
Judy, thank you so much for your call. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Right. Have a wonderful evening. All right, guys. Thank you so much to everybody for the incredible calls tonight. Nurse Grandma 03 says, thank you. Thanks for all you do. Master Templar says, Stone Sour exposed Hollywood. It's fake in their song Through the Glass. Whether or not it was genuine, it still exposed them. Many bands and musicians have exposed Hollywood. I mean, it tends to happen. You know, Chris Cornell lost his life when he tried to speak out about child trafficking. Chester Bennington, the exact same thing. Triple Digits Daily says, happened to myself. I wrote the script to Cowboy U and never saw a dime. I did receive a threat of a lawsuit and a warning from the legal firm I had retained. That is awful. Well, obviously this is not something that is isolated. This is an issue that happens a lot. As I said before, these studios, these executives in Hollywood, they have a lot of money behind them, and it's nothing for them to steal your intellectual property and to destroy the life of one man. So, Thomas, thank you so much for coming here tonight. Thank you for telling us your story. We're definitely going to be getting you in touch with some other people. You can go ahead and probably go on their programs as well. And I do honestly want to have you back. I want to keep getting updates on what's going on with this suit as it progresses. And also, we can definitely have a show where we talk about Pat Robertson. So what do you want to leave the audience with?
I would just say redpillrising.org if you want to go there, and also take a look at what the tribute that my son made. He's 13, he's high honors, he's been through all this his whole life, and he made a moving video. If you want to take a look at it, 2 minutes long sometime, just give him some credit. Hollywood right now, their players are trying to say he didn't create it. Of course he did. So like they stole from their dad, they're trying to steal from him. So, but thank you so much, RP, for having me on, getting word out. That's what helped keeps him alive. And I love the idea of, you know, getting together, making the film, having support, and creating a network where we can get things done and defeat what's been nefarious.
All right. Yeah. Well, thank you. Also, Brittany Taylor, last word, says, rest in peace, Chris. All right. So thank you again, everybody. Don't forget, if you got Thomas's phone number and his email address, go ahead and get a hold of him. Go to redpillrising.com. I'm sure they can get a hold of you through the website as well. And thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you to all of my mods for helping keep the chat nice and civil tonight. There was a couple of people, but it looks like we got rid of them. And thank you to everybody for being here and helping to support this show, and everybody who will be helping to support Thomas in the future. So as always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this was your Red Pill News for Saturday Night Livestream. Good luck, everyone, and God bless.